Oh my goodness, wow, I'm like 3-4 minutes late here, but we're beginning the program. It's the Dave's Gone By Facebook program of the stream that we do every Saturday, now from 9 until 11 in the morning. That's the hand of my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, making the devilish horns.
How come you don't have the thing where the people come in?
Well, they haven't come yet. I mean, I'm just logged on. We're live now, we're public. So I'm going to set up the music, and we'll begin officially the Dave's Gone By show. It kind of sounds, look at it, look at this.
Good morning. There goes Daverhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
We got David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island Hearts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Can't get this right. Good morning, everyone. I don't know why I'm wearing a Colorado hat. This is I'm in my New York mode. And welcome to Chris and John and Phyllis and Fred from Friendy and Steve and all the other people who are watching us live on this. Oh, thank you. I should not wear trucker hats. It is Saturday morning, January 26, 2019. We're calling this episode Old 55 because I am an old man of 55 years old, officially now.
You want your carve out
in the day. Maybe we can bring up the cookie puss and show everybody.
To get it. Well, he's all eaten.
Well, he's happy. Yeah, he's quadriplegic at the moment.
You have the pictures of it?
Yeah, well, I posted pictures on Facebook of my birthday this past week. On Wednesday, I turned 55 years old. And I'm going to tell you all about my birthday. This will not be, what is wrong with my head? This won't work. Okay. Oh, this hair won't work either, but what can you do? My wife is going to, she's making pigtails now. Thank you so much. Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever's sending me birthday wishes. Oh my God, more than 400 people on Facebook and email, almost 500 people actually, all totaled, sent me little greetings, little birthday wishes. And you know, it's at one point when you're trying to thank everybody, you're trying to thank you so much, thank you very much, big thank you. I try to mimic what they did. So if they put everything in capital letters, I put thank you in capital letters. Sometimes I put their name. But after the first 100, and it's people just literally going, happy birthday, or happy birthday, Dave. And you're putting in more work answering them than they put in saying it. But at the same time, you're very grateful that they took the moment out to say it.
Only then you are free.
Well, and at that point, you're just starting like. And I'm still getting birthday messages like this morning. Happy belated birthday. Aww. Happy birthday late. I was like, no, my birthday was on time. You're late.
It's not that they're writing it. They're just clicking a click on Facebook and it pops up.
Well, they can actually click on the word happy birthday? Yeah. Wow, that makes my life easier because I do that for everybody else.
Yes.
One of the reasons people are saying happy birthday to me is I take a couple of minutes out of my day when I remember and find out who the birthdays are.
For me.
I mean, it's true. And I just like, happy birthday, copy paste, like happy birthday. And it's someone I really know well, or someone that I'm connected to.
Happy birthday.
Well, if let's say it's a theater person that I know, I'm like, happy theatrical birthday.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because so you personalize it just a little bit.
If it's Harvey Firestein.
It was Harvey Firestein. So yeah, it would still be happy theatrical birthday or something like that, or happy musical birthday. It was a cabaret person or a singer.
If it's Amy Mann, you say, call me.
Yeah, that's right.
For me, if it's Idris Elba.
Joyce is so into friggin' Idris Elba. Right, or is it? Well, she's watching, we're both watching this very gritty crime drama from England called Luther. that's really, really watchable. It's getting more absurd, though, as it goes on. He's turning more into MacGyver.
He's in love with the serial killer.
Yeah.
A lot of people get shot and lose body parts, and they still hobble around. It's like,
I know.
I like that. I'm impressed by that.
He gets shot in the leg, and rather than go to the hospital, he just starts walking towards a bridge.
No, he goes with the serial killer.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of sexy for a serial killer.
Yeah.
So, and they might wind up in a weird romantic way together, not to giving anything away.
Yeah.
It's a very watchable show. It's just, it was really, it was more believable in the first or second season.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's become, and also everybody who gets close to him dies.
It's like Frankie and Johnny. Johnny and Frankie.
You mean Grace and Frankie?
Grace and Frankie.
Well, they only have one person that they know die.
But that's, after a while, the plot gets thin and they don't know what to do.
Yeah. But at least that one's a comedy, and they were always a little absurd from the get-go.
Yeah.
I hated that last episode, the final episode of Grace and Frankie, where...
Don't say it.
I'm not going to give it... Well, the only spoiler, it's most of the whole episode is where they imagine what life would have been like had they not met each other. And so the Jane Fonda character has had tons of plastic surgery, and it was dumb. After 5 seasons, it kind of expect, especially since they plan so much these days for finales of series that people really grow to like and get accustomed to. So the season was okay. It wasn't a bad Grace and Frankie season, but that last episode was like, come on, this they could have gone so many other places with this. But anywho, this is just me yakking. This is just me clearing my throat, clearing my vocal cords as we do the 682nd edition
That's crazy.
of Dave's Gone By. Welcome, by the way, to Steve and Lawrence and Drew and Tony, of course, Tony. Hey, Tony, we never talked about
Tony, my Tony?
Who's your Tony?
Tony from my friend.
My friend, Tony from the theater.
Oh, no, that's different.
Who's your T-O-N-Y.
Oh, with the boy.
The male, the boy.
Not a T-O-N-I.
Yeah, different Tony. So this episode...
David, is it Tony, Tone?
Oh,
if my friend and your friend got another friend named Tony, they'd be Tony, Tone.
Oh, I like that. That's my old thing of if Yoko Ono married Sonny Bono, she'd be Yoko Ono Bono, which I think would be a beautiful thing. That's
relevant because you saw the Cher show. Right?
I've got so much to do. I'm so backed up. Not even going to review it, but this week I did go to Broadway. I'll review it next week. But I did go to Broadway to see, do I have the Playbill with me? No. The Cher show.
You want me to get it?
I tucked it over there. I'll use it next week. And, I'm not going to review it, but I'll just say it's there. It's Cher. It's 2.5 hours. And some parts are good and some parts not so good. Okay. But I will be reviewing a show on, what is it, my Inside Broadway segment. Oh, that's going to be a monster segment today. I apologize for those of you who aren't into theater. And suddenly this segment balloons to like a half hour long. And all I'm doing is giving theater news and stuff, but there's so much.
Theater.
Well, I'm seeing theater. Also, a Broadway show opened 2 nights ago, True West, a revival with Ethan Hawke and Paul Dano.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't. I'm seeing that next week, but other critics have seen it, so I'll let you know what they thought. Is it a hit? Is it a miss? The revival of True West. But I did see a show that is closing this weekend called American Son with Kerry Washington.
Why was it so limited run?
Well, she's she's a TV star.
Oh, so she just had a limited availability. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And, they sign, these big famous actors sign contracts for a certain amount of time, and then they have a season of
to go back.
$1 million a week TV to get to.
Just like us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like moi. So I'll talk about American Son, which I did see this week. I actually saw it on my birthday. So I'll review that show, and we'll talk about other theater. It was a really big week in theater news. So I'll share all that on Inside Broadway. Also, we'll have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Even though we're here in New York, even though we're now out of Colorado for 2 whole weeks, we still talk about Greeley because, well, it's where we've been from for a decade.
Of articles, that's why.
That too. And we love going through the stories in the Greeley Tribune and letting you know what's been going on back in our old neck of the woods. Yeah. This is our older neck of the woods here. StoryTime continues, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Isn't this exciting? Rabbi Saul Solomon will return for the second installment of the Bring the Kinderlach, as he would say, for My giant Mitzvah fun book.
Alert people to how much it costs too.
Oh, well, we bought this for $1.69 for the rabbi. So, there's a 69 joke in there somewhere. He's been going through the book, showing all the wonderful pleasures inside for young and old in my giant mitzvah fun book with, of course, a laughing, dancing Torah, the happy tzedakah box who's holding money. Don't even want to go there. So that'll be Rabbi Saul doing a bit of that. We'll have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we will be going to Eaton, Colorado, Eaton, Eaton, Colorado, and our Saturday segue of songs in the news. So yeah, we've got a kind of a full and eclectic day has gone by, which is just the way I like it. Now, how are you? This is my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, who joins me, Dave Lefkowitz, for
Tell
Dave's
them how
Online.
many steps I walked yesterday.
Oh my goodness, Joyce went into the city to get her hair done and also to meet her old high school friend
My bud.
in New York. So they went all the way downtown.
I went to 100 near Columbia, so near Morningside Heights,
Mhm.
and then I walked down to 59th Street.
So that's about 60 blocks right there,
Yep.
walking.
Yep.
So
I got
guess
your,
what was on Joyce's
and I got your
Fitbit?
K-cups.
That's right. So I need an extra, what do they call, replacement K-cup for our Keurig so that I can drink my delicious coffee that I made in the mug we bought when we were in Aruba. True.
Good times, good times.
This mug had an easier time getting out of Aruba than we did.
Oh God, yeah.
So anyway, at the end of the day, Joyce, on her Fitbit, racked up 25,000
Yes.
steps. Let's do some thumbs up and hearts for that, shall we? Because between that walk from downtown, plus you ended up, you didn't walk from the station home because you grabbed an Uber or a taxi. Did you do an Uber or a taxi on the way home?
Taxi.
Because it was just right there, or
So I was lazy.
Oh, okay. But the rest of the day, you really put some miles on your feet because usually you feel really happy, and it's like when you hit 10,000. That's kind of the big goal, and the little thing
walking.
shows balloons.
So I walked on like 100 and is it 19th? Like on the Columbus, it's all like gentrified city. They have like all the gentrification stores, like a whole wallet, and they have like, I was like, oh my God, because I lived up there. I was like, this is very different. So I walked my old stomping grounds.
Well, cool. Well, what were some things that you saw and enjoyed in New York, by the way?
Everything. I like walking. I saw Lincoln Center. They redid.
Really?
Tish has donated, I guess,
I'm an NYU guy,
yeah,
so.
they donated, I guess, looks like a radio or a network.
What?
In Lincoln Center, it's like NET, Tish, something. It's all glass.
Did it look permanent? Like
it's beautiful. It's all glass structure. Lincoln Center changed so much.
Oh my! Because I've probably said on the air a few times that Lincoln Center is maybe my favorite visual architectural
it's
thing
much
in New York.
different. So like Lincoln Center, more near Juilliard, like down the block.
Yeah.
Where they used to have the theater, the small theater.
Well, the Mitzvah house is still there, but
But it's a very different. You have to go and walk and see it.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. Because I love Lincoln Center. God.
Well, that's where. So they have the Big Apple Circus and they have the park, But that's where there was a homeless guy years ago banging his head against the phone thing, and I actually called the police.
Wow.
And I said, like, this guy's gonna crack his head open. I remember like this one specific. So when I go there,
was he bleeding already? Was he just? Wow.
I was like, he's gonna be all brains, and it was yucky. But I did that, and I avoided.
And he is now the chairman of the Republican Party in New York.
I avoided Times Square because of just the noise. I walked. I went to Columbus Circle. Remember going around there near Fordham, the downtown campus.
Do they still have the horses, or do they not have the horses?
I didn't go that direct. I didn't cross town. I didn't cross town. And then we went to an Indo-Chinese restaurant, which is basically Indian and Chinese food mixed.
Which gave your friend diarrhea? No, you said it gave your friend diarrhea.
No, I don't think so. I think.
What do you mean you don't think so? She went to the bathroom 3 times. Just.
I think.
Then that she wasn't.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the city. For me, it's like it's an adventure.
Well, that certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they made it sound so much worse. I mean, we didn't mention the name of the restaurant or your friend, but because you said it was like, you left, you brought, no?
No.
Oh.
Move on.
Oh, man.
Move on.
Even anonymous, you can't tell the whole story.
No.
All right, well, then tell me the story off the air then. Anywho.
Move forward.
Sometimes I can't, I don't whatever. Anywho,
It's
what
called
else?
a filter. Use it.
Me? You're telling me I should filter?
I'm gonna get
Like
you
after all these years?
you a K-cup for your brain.
Oh, yay!
Yay!
Brain cup.
I love the city. I'm so sad my Lincoln Plaza Cinemas, the theater, went out. I
Really?
watched so many independent films there went out, and we missed the Jewish Film Festival at Lincoln Center. That ended mid-January.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow! Just
I love Lincoln Center has beautiful film festivals. I used to go to all of them.
wow.
But
Yeah.
now
You used to love that thing. So what did they replace it with?
It's empty. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's just the bones.
Yeah.
It's so sad to me. You see like that. You see like the marquee is still there,
Oh,
but you can't. It's all empty.
it'll be a
It's
multiplex
sad.
soon.
No, it's too small. It doesn't have. Well, maybe, but it has a few small screens. The screens aren't gargantuan. They're small compared to like mega theater.
Yeah, they'll turn it into a poke place or
I
something.
love it. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah.
And I went to there's a bagel place. It's so funny. Near Columbia that I used to go to. Actually, it's near Duke Ellington. So I used to live on 100.
Oh God, I hope he's not really next to it because
I used to live on 106th and Broadway.
Yeah.
And there's a bagel place right around the corner and still there, and it's like the same servers, and it's so funny. I love it.
Yeah. I gotta say, I've heard people for years say, "Well, the only place to get a bagel is in New York."
They're much better.
They are. I mean, you can get good bagels.
This one is
everywhere, but
delicious. It
okay.
was like I should bring you them. You'll love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They're so odd. It's an odd way of doing it.
But I gotta say, I got a bagel this week in the town we're in.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me have because I was waiting for a train and I had time to kill. So it was like, let me have I eat lunch going to the theater.
Snack, yeah.
In fact, it was my birthday. It was my birthday day. I'm like, let me have
carve
a
up.
bagel with butter, because I knew I was having a monster meal later on, but I was already hungry.
Yeah.
So I go to and I gotta say, that was a good New York bagel.
Yeah.
I get you get decent, but you really do get decent bagels back in Greeley, Colorado. You can get one. Where's the place? Not Subway. What's the place that we?
Einstein.
Yeah, it's perfectly decent. But it was huge, but it was a good kind of huge.
Yeah.
I think it's got that New York water with. They've got the chlorine, rat feces, chlorophyll, chloroform. Whatever.
Probably a little bit of meth,
Oh, definitely meth.
Yeah,
it's like dollar bills. There's a little bit of drugs on every single thing
yes.
that you eat in New York. But it was a good bagel.
What else was different? I'm trying to think of what else was different.
And I'm very happy to say, even though I didn't have it on my birthday, I had it another time in this week. I had the two great versions of New York pizza.
Oh, yeah.
So on one day here, basically, I think in Hewlett, there is the best pizza place in all of New York, which means it's the best pizza in all of the country.
Wow.
And I'm not here to do a commercial, but I'm saying, and it's been about several years since I've been there.
And they make Sicilian the way they did when in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah, it is still, the same guy's still there, the same owner, still the best pizza in New York. And then for perfectly decent and good pizza, not the best pizza in New York, you can still go down, and I love this, and there's even more places like this now. There's places on 8th Avenue or just off 8th Avenue where you can get $1 a slice.
Wow, where?
There's a couple of them right down 8th Avenue.
Are they tasty? Or is the
They're
cardboard?
very good. No, it's perfectly
because,
good pizza.
Think about it. How much does it take to, if you make a pizza, it probably costs, $5 for the whole pizza?
Maybe
to make it.
not
It's
even.
not,
if
they
you're,
probably buy in bulk, yeah.
Yeah, if you're bulking on the cheese, and maybe it's not the highest quality. Maybe it's just a step above government cheese.
It's got more
but it's good.
rat feces.
Extra rat. Well, you have to pay more for that.
It's got rat foofs.
But it's all volume, and people just come in. It's like you throw down a buck.
Really?
They give you throw down a buck, and they're fresh because they do such a volume that it's not sitting out there for a half hour.
That's
You're
true.
getting a fresh, perfectly good slice
Do
of
they
pizza.
have Sicilian or just American?
It's just a regular,
plain
and
sheet.
with nothing, no toppings.
Oh.
I'm sure you can get regular toppings there, but who's there? You got a line, and you're like, here's $1, get a slice. Here's $1, get a slice. Yeah, they probably sell an entire pie's worth of slices in a minute.
Wow.
So, and they're obviously making good money.
Do you want to talk about your hot dog experience? Oh, you're talking about your pretzel compared to your pretzel you did.
That was last week.
Yeah,
I did the disappointing New York pretzel.
You should do another pretzel to see it. You do some more experimentation.
I need to do that. Yeah, when I'm in a pretzel-y mood. But let me talk a little bit about my birthday before we get to Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
You took the pictures.
I'll put pictures on Facebook, so if you scroll down later, you can see pictures of me, on my birthday, which was on Wednesday. And the day did not start well. You know, it certainly did. Let me get evenly between the socks here. It started as a bad day. Literally, I wake up at about 7:30. I check my cell phone, and the message is from my Discover card saying, we suspect you had a fraudulent charge on your Discover card for $600 from Walmart. I'm like, well, I know what I did yesterday, and of all the things that I did do on that Tuesday, spending $600 online or in person at Walmart was not one of them.
No.
And smart of them, they never charged it. They declined the charge, which
Because
makes me think it was remotely done.
They
Yeah.
said it was the same one as that other site that used the same wrong number.
Oh, okay.
I think another site was spoofed, and they got your.
And then they got the card through that. But anyway, so then it's like in the morning, I'm like, okay, calling Discover, because I didn't know if even the message was a spam fraudulent, like trying to get me to text Discover card, which wasn't really Discover card. It's like, Pakistani person with a computer saying, "Oh yes, let me take your Discover number, please." You know, it's like, but it wasn't. It was real.
Can you not be racist?
I'm just, please. I get spam calls
stop,
from these people,
Stop.
or at least back in Colorado, I would 5 times a day.
That's because you engage, but go forward.
Anyway, no. You know how many calls we get here that they pick up and it's spam? Like literally, they'll call 2 minutes later. They'll call back.
Really?
Yeah, and we hang up. So engaging with them, no. The other
Move
folks
on.
here.
Keep talking about your birthday.
So
Discover.
So I deal with Discover. They're great, and they're fine. They say, "Hey, we decline the charge. You gotta tear up your old card. You know, cut that up. Get you a new number. Get you a new card. Blah blah blah. We'll FedEx it to you," which is great because they want you using their new card as soon as possible. But my day started with that. Was that the day that the dog peed? Also,
yes.
Same day. Was it the same day?
I think it was the day before.
It was the day before.
Close enough.
So the dog peed in a place he shouldn't have. Had to clean that up. It was the day before.
Yeah.
What else did we were going to put the dog on camera, but he's sleeping at the moment. I'm sure he'll wake up before the show's done.
Wolfie.
Couple of other don't let him be. It started out as a pretty lousy day, as I recall, but I don't recall the other particulars.
I was in the bathroom and you had a cake. Didn't you get a devil dog cake when I was in the bathroom?
Oh, yay. Yeah, my parents' traditional ceremony in the morning for my birthday, because my mother, for 40 years.
Spanking and coddling.
No, first there's a spanking, the ritual spanking.
Coddling.
Right. With, they don't use a wooden spoon anymore. They use a spurtle on me.
Thanks, Big Dave.
Actually, they bend me over just to get my tush read. And then my mom's traditional breakfast, and I swear to you this is true, and she has been doing this since I was a teenager. She doesn't make eggs or cereal for herself. She doesn't do any. She has a cup of coffee and a devil dog. In fact, the most traumatic moments of her life a few years ago was when Drakes went out. And nobody knew what would happen to them. They'd just be bankrupt or gone until they were bought by Bimbo Foods. Literally, that's the name. This Mexican food concern called Bimbo bought out Drakes and Hostess, I think, and lumped them all together or something like that. But people were buying up devil dogs in droves because they thought they would not be there anymore. And suddenly they were charging $40 for a box of devil dogs on eBay.
Ridiculous.
I'm not kidding.
That's
you remember that?
I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
Well, see, devil dogs, they're packaged in a way with so many preservatives. Like you buy a box today, you can't eat it in 2033.
Just analyze it and make them themselves.
Well, there are equivalent, but it's not the same. It's like a New York pizza. It's like a New York bagel. You can make one elsewhere, but it isn't the same thing. So, but that is her thing. She will have a devil dog and a cup of coffee. But for me, on my birthday, she put a candle in the center of the devil dog.
Fancy.
We cut it into 4 portions for Mom and Dad and Joyce and
I didn't
me.
Eat it.
Well, you didn't have. You could have. We cut a piece for you.
I was waiting my
You
turn.
couldn't tear yourself away.
It's like a tenement. I have to wait my turn in the bathroom.
I know. But,
I'm still waiting for my bath day.
But let me tell you, there's something. I had more cake later that evening. Do not feel bad for me. Do not feel like it's an episode of The Jeffersons where all they can afford is a devil dog with a candle in it. It's a beautiful.
And good times.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Good times. It's a beautiful ceremonial moment with my day was starting to get better. And then, of course, I went. I had a bagel. Oh, that was the thing. I went, spent like 20 minutes, wasted 20 minutes in the post office. This is where one hand doesn't know what the other is doing.
It's called, well, the federal government slowdown, right?
Not to, although
federal.
Although the post office was not affected by it. Probably the next potential government shutdown will affect postal workers. Did I step on your bunion?
25,000 feet.
Sorry, I just stepped on my wife's bunion.
You're trying to kill me.
Or the bunion that I've nicknamed Paul.
Oh.
Again, Paul. Anywho.
What's the other one called?
So I'm in the post office and waiting on this line and waiting. And finally I get to the guy. I said, look, we moved from our Colorado home for a long-term temporary stay back here on Long Island. And we still haven't gotten our mail. It's been about 2 full weeks. I did a change of address card. It's official. And I'm not getting the mail forwarded from my old address. And it's been 2 weeks. And they say it should be about 10 days to 14 days to do it. Yeah. And the really nice guy at the post office, but he's telling me, oh, that's not even close.
That's ambitious.
It takes just 2 weeks for the changeover to happen in Colorado. Then another week for us to do the paperwork here in Long Island. And then in 1 more week, you'll probably start getting your mail. And I'm like, well, that's great because I've got bills coming that will all be overdue by the time I get them. And he said, I'm sorry, man, it takes sometimes almost a month.
That's why you can do stuff online, Baba.
For you to get your mail. And wouldn't you know, after the funny part about after having that conversation is that day I started getting the mail. Yeah. I mean, he could have just sort of checked and looked at a piece of paper. Oh, by the way, we're already forwarding your mail.
Maybe they don't know that.
Well, I assume he could have easily seen. It's like, oh yeah, you're in a day or two.
Government workers don't give nothing.
Thing is, he was answering off the top of his head instead of checking. But it was nice, and I was happy that but it was kind of a waste of time at the post office. But at least the good news was we're getting it's trickling. He said first you'll get a pile, and then the trickle will start. And he was right about that.
Nice.
It's kind of like my diaper in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have a
we don't have any noisemakers.
We
I'm not doing that. No.
We have our push the noisemaker.
It's so sad. It's so depressing.
And so let's further birthday news for you, or further birthday
go get the cake?
Story. Do you want to get the cake? Do you mind? Because it's all the way down in the basement, and then we got to bring it all the way back up.
I'll go get it.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. So I'll tell you a bit more.
Stay out for long, it'll cross,
oh, exactly. Yeah. So I go to New York, and what do I do? Well, I go see American Son, which I'll tell you about later on Broadway. I make my train. I miss the earlier train home, the off-peak train, so I can save a couple of bucks. So I'm like, now I've got about 40 minutes to wait for my next train from Jamaica to our stop in Hewlett. I'm like, I'm still impatient. Even though I'm 55 years old now, I'm still like, oh my God, I'm not going to walk around Jamaica Station for half an hour back and forth on the platform like a caged animal. What do I do? So I go down in Jamaica. I walk a block. I go to a 99-cent shop. I don't know what possessed me, but I bought soap because they had soap on sale, the soap that we use. And instead of buying 1 or 2 bars, it was like this mega block of 22 bars of soap for less than $1 a piece of the Dial Gold. And I'm like, I'm just going to get it. We're going to, soap lasts forever. Let me just get soap. More soap than I will possibly use in the few months that I'm going to be here. And I'm also an extension cord. Go back to the station. Perfect timing to make my train. That's the way to do it, folks. To use the time you've got. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting, folks. And I go meet my wife at a restaurant, a very good Japanese restaurant that we have here in town. Because I'm thinking, what do I want for my birthday? What special meal?
It was delicious.
Am I going to want? Because I was thinking there's a place that does grilled fish locally and grilled octopus, but it's very expensive, and I figure
delicious. Good tofu.
I'll save that for another time. There's a really good Chinese place that we had lunch in earlier in the week that I thought, I could go back to there. And I'm like, no, let me do something real special. Let me get the sushi that I want. I ended up getting like this monster sashimi plate.
But you showed the picture. You put the picture up?
Yeah, they're all on Facebook. They're all. I put them up earlier in the week.
You can show the pictures.
People can actually scroll, but yeah, you can. I think they're on Oh, they're on your phone. Great. Yeah, let's do it.
This way to get more color to your story.
Yeah. And by the way, it is 9:30. Oh my God, it's 9:34 already in the morning Eastern time. You're watching Dave's Gone By. Welcome to Ben and Sarah and Glenn and Jeffrey and Ashley and Tina.
You want the cake, right? You want the fish.
Well, show the whole. We can do kind of the whole. Well, the cake is here.
I don't want to show just the fish.
The fish. Oh, the fish. This is a
when
plate of sashimi.
Slide this way.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can put that on. Oh, hold on. We'll hold it up to that. There we go. Ooh, exciting, huh? It's kind of hard to see because it's light, but it's a beautiful plate of sashimi. That's me. And I have to admit, I was using chopsticks only for the photograph because I cannot manage chopsticks. I grab my fingers. There we go.
You want to, and then there's the cake.
Sashimi dinner, which was delicious.
You got to show this because that has.
Oh, yeah. This is the full one.
Yeah.
Come home, and we defrost my very special dessert.
A little bit lacking.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an actual from a Carvel store, official.
From Frank Carvel made it.
Cookie Puss. This is what Cookie Puss looks like. A real Cookie Puss. There we go.
Can I show the lights? Oh, whoops.
Oh, it doesn't.
I'm going to show the lights.
But the thing about Cookie, if you know from Carvel, they do the Fudgy the Whale, they do the Cookie Puss, there's the outer space alien thing. This is when it had candles on it for my birthday. Ice cream cake with a deliberately fecal nose, because they know I did a show about poop, and they know I'm rather fecal-philic. So notice the chocolate ice cream kind of running out in rivulets like volcano
it looks
lava.
like it's on fire.
Out of the nose.
You're like, fire, fire.
This is when we turn the lights down, and we're doing with Mom and Dad and Joyce our happy birthday Carvel cake Cookie Puss celebration.
Yes.
The Cookie Puss was, they're good when you get them in the supermarket and they're in the frozen case. When you get a Cookie Puss from an actual Carvel.
Look, he's gonna
let me show the.
That's the before and after. That's what I wanted them to see.
So we started eating him, and there's still some left. Check this out. And by the way, it is also a kosher, certified kosher Cookie Puss cake. This is the rest of him.
Oh, show them the layers.
So we dismembered him.
The layers are here.
Oh, the layers. Here we go.
The different layers.
So it looks like that.
I got the traditional variety.
This is the beautiful part of a Carvel
Next time
cake.
I'm gonna get double crunchies.
Yeah, because it's got crunchies in the middle, right? It's got the chocolate ice cream, the vanilla ice cream, the sort of buttercream cold icing, and then regular icing on top.
Yes.
The beauty of Carvel with the beauty
Look
of
what's left. That's all that's left, honey. Look.
A Cookie Puss.
Look.
There's the cone.
All of this is
was
gone.
eaten. Well, by about 4 people, yeah.
Covered the location.
Oh, well, too late. But okay, that was my final birthday joy.
Do you want a piece now?
Oh God, no! I won't be able to eat it on camera.
Cover?
But it was delicious, and considering the start to the day, which began with credit card fraud, and the end of the day, which was sashimi and Carvel Cookie Puss, not too shabby a birthday.
And you also had duck.
Oh, that's right. At the restaurant, I even had one of my favorite things to eat. There was duck with noodles because I gorged. I gorged on my birthday. But hey, it's my birthday. I'm allowed. And by the way, I am allowed to remind you that this program is partially brought to us by the fine folks at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway. Since the 1970s, the Toron family has owned and operated this franchise of Hewlett Minuteman. They do copying, they do printing, they do binding. You know what? I'm 55. Let's do F. For the word 55. This is the letter F on the sheet of the things that they do. Party favors, fax services, file cards, floor mats, flyers, foil embossing, foil stamping, folders for presentations, fold over business cards, forms, foreign language invitations, and 4-color cards, brochures, digital color copies, flyers, plastic business cards, postcards, and more. And that is just, ladies and gentlemen, the letter F of all the thing Minuteman does. Now, Minuteman is right in the heart of Hewlett, Long Island, in the little strip mall that's opposite the big Petco that they have. It's near the banks. It's 2.5 blocks from, well, the post office that I went to and also the Long Island Railroad station. Plus, if you tell them Dave sent you get 10% off any job, big or small, at Hewlett. Minuteman, where'd you find these? This is unbelievable, because we didn't have noisemakers that we had back in Colorado. We have these audio digital things, but now we're going old school. We're actually going really like 5,000 years old school. These are Purim groggers that my parents, where were these?
When I was down the basement trying to fill the ice cream and the cake, and I said, that looks like something that will make noise.
You want to talk about something that makes noise? Listen to this. How's that for fun? How's that for fun time?
Try 2 of them.
Here's another. Because we're going to need these for Greeley Crimes of Old Times. Oh my goodness. This one sounds like Borborygmus.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we even have a third grogger. Ooh, that's rather trebly.
Yeah.
And then one more. We got one more. We got a couple more.
couple
Couple more. Well, a lot of these are the same.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, they all have different pitches, you know? So listen.
And this one.
Cool. I should do the thing like the guys with the water glasses.
Show the picture of the...
Yeah, well, this should be, I guess, Esther, Queen Esther, right? No, that's a rather mannish Queen Esther.
Esther and Bragg. My name is Esther.
My name is Esther.
Sounds like my name is Jan.
I live with Ahasuerus. Anywho, let's see, what else we got here? Well, they're all pretty much the same. What the heck? What is this? Oh my God!
What is
this
it?
is a nightmare. This is a horror.
What is it? Let me see.
I'm not craftsy, but you know that I cannot draw. I cannot.
Oh no! What did you make? Was this something you did?
This had to be in literally 2nd or 3rd, or God forbid, maybe 6th or 7th grade.
It was high school. It was college. It was last year.
In elementary school, we made our own menorahs.
Oh, let me see.
Or it seemed like we're Shabbos.
Let me see.
Like, all right, I'm going to put it up on the camera. This is in clay, a candelabrum. It couldn't be Hanukkah because there's too little in there. Or maybe it was Hanukkah. It just probably got broken.
I think it's a menorah.
How is that beautiful or what?
It looks like for cigarettes. It looks like you put cigarettes on it. Is it
this
an
is
8? And a
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this probably had holes on it as well.
Oh. You were not talented.
Not in any way, shape,
You want
or
to show them what it should
And this probably took me like 3 hours to make. This.
It should look like this. Look, show them what it should look like.
Yeah. Well, we did this one together. We were also in our 30s or 40s when we made this.
For the good side.
That's rather, well, this is a good side. This is very nice. But we didn't have to make this shape.
Go around.
This was already shaped. We just glazed it and painted it.
Hmm?
Yeah, little different. Although, actually, and from far away.
Yeah, which is
Can you really tell?
Wait, no, do the color so I'm like the
Yeah.
other.
See, can you actually tell the difference between these two Hanukkah menorahs?
No.
Look closely. There are subtle differences.
God.
Anywho, it's 9:42 in the morning, Mountain Time here in, I was going to say Greeley, Colorado, but no, we're in Hewlett, New York, ladies and gentlemen, my old home stomping ground, doing the 682nd episode of Dave's Gone By live on this Saturday, January 26, 2019. We're calling it Old 55 because I'm old now and I'm 55 years old. I got to start applying for these discounts. This is it. I can live in an old age home if I wanted to.
No, you can't.
I get like 10% off at IHOP.
You can live in senior housing.
I can't. Well, what's the difference between senior housing and an old age home?
Old age home, you're thinking of skilled care.
I wouldn't mind skilled care.
God.
Somebody to wipe my bottom in the morning.
You do that already.
Sure. I'll ask you to wipe my bottom in the morning.
I gotta get
But it's true, when you're 55 years old, they start getting the cool discounts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not the Long Island Railroad. They're 65 and over, not 55 and over. Damn. And while I still have some black hair, I don't think I can pass for 65 yet.
You're
Darn.
too cute.
But other
Too
places,
legit to quit. Give me your hand.
yeah.
I gotta get my food. I'm hungry.
But there's certain restaurants are 55. Well, we got to do Greeley Crimes. Can't hang until 10,
Yeah,
and
I
then
can. Of course I can.
yeah. But also on this radio, Facebookio, podcastio program of the stream, We have, let's see, coming up, Potato News, Inside Broadway, StoryTime,
Manuel Noriega.
and of course, Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and a Saturday Segue. So, are we ready to get to Greeley Crimes at All Times? Let me play the theme music
I'll do this.
for that. Flag-a-dee-dee, fiddly-o-dee-dee. Greeley Crimes at All Times. We do this every week, even though we're no longer in Greeley at the moment, because there's a couple of cool columns in the local newspaper, the Greeley Tribune. One is by a friend of ours, a friend of the Daverhood, Mike Peters, who was on the program a few months ago, where he's been doing this for ages. He goes through the newspapers 100 years ago and picks out the funniest, most nostalgic, goofiest items that were in the actual newspaper back in 1918, 1919. And that was Greeley 100 years ago. And also, there's another column in the Greeley Tribune, which is called Cop Log. All the calls that come into the local police department are logged. A lot of them are serious, a lot of them aren't funny, but there are some that are quite ridiculous and amusing, that the things that people are calling police dispatch for, the Greeley Tribune collects them and prints the dumbest, funniest ones. We enjoy the column. We like to share it with you.
We do.
And also we have a couple of outsider things as well. So are you ready for Greeley Crimes?
New people.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of people watching, so this is kind of cool. Are you ready, babe? Are you ready for Greeley Crimes at All Times? Greeley police responded to a library on 11th Street for a report of a highly intoxicated 70-year-old man who had, are you ready? Think of the commercial. Because you know they thought of the commercial when they wrote this.
Fallen and can't get up?
He had fallen and could not get up.
Wow.
I wonder if he didn't like that. I've fallen.
Help me, help me.
And by the way, I don't know if they show this in Colorado, but they've redone that commercial. And then they pan through the house like a creepy horror movie. And then you see her at the bottom of the stairs. And they're not even showing a close-up. They're taking a shot at Hitchcock.
She should have had her cell phone.
Yeah. And she's like, I've fallen. And I can't get up. Yeah.
She doesn't say that anymore. She says, "I've fallen. Please help me."
Oh, really? Is that it? That's not funny. That's no good.
It's like, where's the beef?
They should force her to stay down until she says it properly. Like, we could pick you up. We could get you in a wheelchair to the hospital, but
What's
you have to say it.
Ma'am? What's the code word?
Say the words, ma'am. Say the words. Captain T.G. Macy.
Oh, no.
The Undertaker. Speaking of 70-year-olds,
God.
he has now turned 70
Oh.
and never touched a razor to his face.
Wow.
He's never shaved, which I guess is sort of the same thing as never touching a razor to his face. As we all know, he has a stately and handsome bearded face.
Wow.
This is a news item
That's
from
exciting.
Slow News Day.
Wow.
Back in Greeley, Colorado.
I hope that his son can grow a mustache. Ooh.
Wow.
Good
So
times.
good old Captain Macy there. H.H. Kroll of Greeley, Colorado, was on his way home on county roads when he saw a man in the road pointing a rifle at him.
Oh, God.
Thinking he was going to be robbed,
Yeah.
Kroll sped up to get away.
Oh, no.
Then another rifleman appeared.
What?
A third gunman was then recognized by Kroll, so he stopped.
Are they police?
There were 3 booze officers stopping cars that might have been smuggling booze from Wyoming. That could have had a very different, if it were black,
That's right.
that would have a very different ending, let me tell you. But anywho, a Greeley resident called dispatchers about a disturbing newspaper ad.
Here we go.
Ooh. The ad was about a wealthy businessman looking for a new wife between the ages of 18 and 25.
So?
Well,
That's okay.
well, police spoke with a man who said he was canceling the ad because he already found a new wife in Walden.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
He's what is it, Sister Wives. He was the first Sister Wives show.
The weird thing is that was not from 100 years ago. That was actually this past week.
Really?
In Greeley, yeah.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, muscle tough.
Live the dream. YOLO.
Police responded to 11th Street for
Again, the
they know it's
library.
11th, yeah, for a report of a neighbor who dumps his trash on his lower level neighbor's balcony.
That's awful.
That's a bad situation right there. Can you imagine getting up every morning?
Like, you know, there's a thing called the trash.
Yeah,
You don't just dump it on
It
the
was like,
balcony
"Whoo."
below.
yeah. That's that's going to be a Prisoner of Second Avenue
That's
situation
gonna be
pretty
bad.
soon.
That's going to be like an 8th and 8th one.
Oh, definitely. But we do have a wow alert. This is big. I'm going to grab one of these.
Yeah, not that one. We'll do another.
Okay, I'll do another one
Yeah.
because this is time for a
One
wow
for
alert.
each hand.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Say wow.
Wow.
Wow! Everybody at home, say wow. All right, let me hear you. Wow! Here's a wow alert,
If you
ladies
like
and
this,
gentlemen.
you could do W's with your fingers. There you go.
People were called. Police were called to an office in Greeley when a strange man entered.
Woo, 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 woo.
He began raving. His tongue.
Dancing.
like,
Do, 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 do. It's a flash mob, right?
woohoo! No, just not that kind of flash.
Hey.
Police were called when the strange man began raving. His tongue was black. His eyes queer. Well,
Wow.
heck, I looked at the two body parts back then. Hair awry, and he was screaming
Yeah.
for wieners to eat. I guess his tongue was queer. Screaming for
That's
wieners.
You at the Cedarhurst picnic.
That's right. Believe it or not, there's actually more to this.
Was he
When they
arrested?
gave him a package of wieners,
Yes.
he ate 7 of them.
Raw? Oh,
They're cooked.
pre-cooked,
They're pretty, yeah. He then lay on the couch, still convulsive and shouting.
Yes.
Authorities took him to the hospital.
Good.
Yeah.
Because that's the best place to be.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to make a wiener joke, but
That's horrible.
it's great to play for a wiener. Yeah.
Wiener schnitzel.
But if I'm ever on the couch convulsing and shouting for wieners,
Yes.
yeah,
I'll just take you to Broadway.
that's the day you put me in the senior home.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, let's go elsewhere.
Okay.
Speaking of food things, speaking of eating things that probably we shouldn't, this is a story that comes out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
Dateline, Salt Lake City, Utah, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday morning at Utah's Hoagie Zoo, which is, they don't actually sell hoagies there, I don't think.
What's
but
a
it's
hoagie?
the Hoagie Zoo. A sea lion
Oh.
named Diego vomited up a child's sock.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Uh-oh. Where's the rest of the kid?
Child, I know, yeah, right. He also threw up some blood with the sock,
Yeah.
causing the zoo to post a warning about discarding items that could be harmful
Oh, they
to
thought it was
animals.
making you sick, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, what was the thing that?
Why would you throw your sock at a sea lion?
Well, some kid peels off a sock and he just throws it in the tank, and boom, a seal eats it.
Where's the parent?
Not watching the hell. There have been children that have climbed into monkey cages, so this is not so bad. The little kid takes a sock, it falls off his foot, boom. You know, it makes me think of that time though that there are these yogis who do this, where they swallow an unraveled piece of cloth,
Ugh.
and then they hold one end of it,
Oh, David.
and then they regurgitate. It gets apparently all the bad stuff out of their system. It's the opposite of an enema. It's kind of a throw up cleanse. Apparently they do this kind of thing. I do not. No, actually, I tried that many years ago. I tried like swallowing a little bit of a. It
Really?
was not a great experience. No,
Why would you do that?
because I thought it would get up all my gastric juices. It would cleanse my tongue. It didn't. No, it just made me gag basically.
Of course.
Yeah. Which is better perhaps than gagging on wieners. But we're doing Greeley crimes at old times here in the Daverhood. You know, the city of Boston
Ooh.
is still recovering from the molasses flood last week.
What?
100 years ago.
Yeah.
A molasses storage tank blew up. I don't know how that happens, and it sent a 30-foot wave of molasses through the neighborhood at 35 miles per hour. 21 people were killed and 150 people were injured. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a sticky situation
Too
right there.
sweet. Too Too sweet.
Can you imagine 21 people being killed by a molasses
But
wave?
what a good way to go.
Kind of a slow way to go.
Oh, yeah.
You think they can outrun it? It's molasses.
That's
It's like,
true.
it's coming at you. Wait, let me grab the photo album. Let me
Yeah,
get,
but it's a molasses bomb. It probably happened quickly.
I get, well, the wave.
Yeah.
It's like,
Probably what killed people was the explosion, not the molasses.
it's like Jemima Nami.
No, but what killed them was the explosion, not the molasses.
Yeah. Wow. Anywho, police responded to 7th Street for unauthorized dumpster use. The caller said someone threw a pool away in her dumpster.
What?
Yeah, and she was unsure what to do about it. People drain it. I mean,
Swim?
yeah. You got 6 feet of water
How
there.
do you fit a pool in a dumpster? That should get an award.
I imagine it'd be a kiddie pool, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I no, I don't know.
That's
Or maybe
good.
one of those ground.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Except use your own dumpster when you're doing that.
Mhm.
Oh, honey.
What?
Oh, honey.
Grab a
Not only is this an 8th and 8th alert,
Oh no.
this is a vintage 8th and 8th alert. Now let's explain. The vortex of insanity in Greeley, Colorado, is the nexus of 8th Street and 8th
It's like
Avenue.
the black hole, right?
Yeah, it's a place where all the homeless. It's like this weird
It
place.
draws people because it's infinity plus infinity.
There you go.
That's what it is, infinity. Yeah.
That is where what we call black holes, or the thing where you get
Yes.
sucked in a time warp
Yes,
thing.
time warp.
So 8th Street and 8th Avenue in Greeley, Colorado. When we get stories about that, it's an exciting.
Yeah, oh, very exciting.
But imagine an 8th and 8th story from 1919.
Wow.
They had them back then.
1919. That's like eighth and 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 eighth.
So let's take our portal back
Oh wow.
to that time. For this vintage 8th and 8th alert, police picked up a bathrobe yesterday,
Whoa.
which had been left in the downtown area. The robe was hanging over the street sign at
Yeah.
8th Avenue
Oh no.
and 8th Street.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But no one knows who the owner is or why the robe was hung there. If you lost it, pick it up at the police station.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now let me ask you, if you were drunk and you tossed the robe over a street sign,
No, I think it was.
would you
dry-
go back to the police
I
to
think
get
it
it?
was drying. Maybe somebody didn't have a wash line. They were drying their clothes.
That could be.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Street signs are very handy for
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
Let's see, by the way, we're doing Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on this episode of Dave's Gone By. What else we got here? We got a resident used the 911 text function to report sophisticated cyber bullies.
Can you do that? Text them?
I guess you can. Which is a great thing, because I mean, all these years, if you had to call 911, if there's a prowler in the house, you know, like whisper, you
That's
gotta call-
great.
now you can sort of be really
I don't know
quiet.
if you can if that's real.
I don't know. Well, she reached the police.
Yeah.
So she said that these cyber bullies were harassing her, filming her without her permission,
Yeah.
and stealing her music.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Don't steal the music. Where did the music go?
Now, the complainant would not speak with officers in person, only through text messages, and she declined to make a statement when police arrived at her house. But in terms of her music being stolen, I just hope she kept good notes.
Oh.
She shouldn't have talked to the police. She should have just talked to their staff.
Oh.
Double your pleasure, treble your fun.
She should have gone to 8th and 8th.
Woo! There we go. Are you ready for some more elsewhere stuff?
Sure.
This is kind of a cool thing. Rabbi would appreciate this.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was actually printed in the New York Post, and Rabbi Saul knows this guy, one of the big rabbis out here in Colorado. In Long Island, Anshel Pearl out of Mineola. He has been asked to weigh in on the new Alexa-powered toilet.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
It's called the New Me. It's the top-of-the-line Kohler toilet,
Whoa.
which sells for, guess how much?
$2,000.
I don't know,
$10,000?
$8,000. Yeah. It's like, who's the Japanese one that we had on the program here?
Toro.
The Toro.
Toto.
Togo toilet. This is
Totoro's the-
Kohler, America's answer to the Togo toilet.
Okay.
But here's the deal. You ask Alexa,
Yeah.
the app, to flush by voice.
That's great.
No, it's not. Who needs that?
You ask her. You don't have to touch the handle.
What's wrong with touching a handle? It's a handle.
And stuff.
In your own, maybe in public toilets, I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, are you so lazy?
Yeah.
And so that you can't reach and go.
What happens if you can't? What happens if people can't reach that?
Who can't reach a
they
toilet
might have
handle?
issues with reaching. People have reaching issues.
However, here's the problem. Here's why they asked a rabbi to weigh in on this. I swear to God, or he swears to God. However, Jewish law on bathroom etiquette.
Oh God, who wrote the book?
Because this is really in the Talmud.
I think it is.
You're not supposed to speak in the bathroom. And by the way, this is from the column by it's not a news. It's from Cindy Adams' column in the New York Post. Or I don't know if it's syndicated or if it's just in the New York Post.
Alive?
God, thank God, yes, she is.
Okay.
So here's the problem: you've got a toilet that responds to voice commands, but you're not allowed to speak in the bathroom to your toilet or to anybody.
Can't somebody just yell out from the room, "Hey Alexa, flush"?
You literally have to position somebody outside the bathroom door to talk to the toilet in the bathroom.
Yes.
If the door can, you know what you need? You need a toilet goy.
Yes.
Like the Shabbos goys light the candles. Yes. You get a goy to stand, an attendant, not to hand out towels.
Just train your dog.
Train your dog. To do the woof.
To say, Alexa, please flush.
Everybody, all Jews would need to bring a parrot into the bathroom. Alexa, flush! Alexa, flush!
That looks like Larry the bird.
Polly Wangadoogie? Polly Wangadoogie?
Remember Larry?
Of course. Vocabulary.
Yes. Oh, I miss him.
So what do you do? Because it's immodest to talk in the bathroom, apparently.
Oh.
If the door cannot close, an occupant, this is unbelievable, an occupant may grunt to indicate that it's occupied. So let's say you go into a toilet stall in a public bathroom and you're Orthodox Jewish.
I'm going to test that in Cedarhurst.
So you can't talk to somebody and say, hey, I'm in here, but you can go like, ugh. That's okay.
That's horrible.
Grunting
that's offensive.
Is allowed. This is, I'm sorry, I'm reading this from Cindy Adams' column.
Is it just for men or for ladies too?
Good question, but one assumes, even if you are just brushing your teeth in the bathroom, you're not allowed to speak. Which makes sense because you got a friggin' toothbrush in your mouth who can understand you. You cannot phone anybody. You can't read aloud because speech is holy. And talking in the bathroom nurtures unholy negative energies. So if you have an urgent...
It explains a lot about your bathroom habits.
Unbelievable. If an urgent matter requires attention, you're allowed to hint rather than talking.
How do you hint? No, 2 words.
And you're behind the stall with the door closed.
I don't know.
And maybe do the tappy thing. Like 3 taps for help. 5 taps for I'm out of toilet paper. 10 taps for help and I'm out of toilet paper. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God.
That's very involved.
I wish there were a bigger story about this.
You could investigate that. Why don't you interview the rabbi?
Well, Rabbi Pearl, oh my gosh, actually, I met him a couple of times. So, but I mean, the permutations religious people put themselves through for honestly no reason. It's just
but there's a reason. You just don't accept the reason.
I certainly don't accept the reason. If I've fallen and I can't get up on a Kohler toilet, I'm not going to like. I'm not just going to grunt. I mean, I may grunt without my own consent. I'm like, argh! But I'm not going to grunt for help. I'm going to do a whole hell of a lot more than that. Anyway, by the way, I want to help all of you guys out by reminding you that it's 10:03 in the morning Eastern Time on this Saturday, January 26th, 2019. My work is done. Well, yeah, that's right. I shouldn't. I'll grunt. I'll grunt. 2019. Wait, I'm trying to kill my throat.
Don't do it.
But yeah, it's our 682nd episode of the Dave's Gone By.
What's the title?
Program. We're calling it Old 55 because old Dave turned 55 on Wednesday, and I'm still doing this shit for no money. There you go. What a life I lead. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't speak on the toilet.
You've heard me. In fact, when I do something really amazing on the tour, I
Joy.
call you.
Yeah, that's,
I say, honey, look at this. It's the longest one ever.
that's why, because you're disfaming your toy.
I'm so proud. I'm like, it's like, what do they call them? It's like a sausage patty.
Yeah, stop.
Anywho. By the way, welcome to Tina and John and Josephine and Kathy and Jeffrey and Reggie and Bob and all the fine folks who are tuning in to the Dave's Gone By program. We have so much more for you. We have a Saturday Segue of songs in the news. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, our Inside Broadway segment, and a couple of other things as well. So stay with, and StoryTime with Rabbi Saul Solomon. But we'll do a couple more of Greeley Crimes and Old Times because we've got a few of them, which is great.
Okay.
So we have... Oh dear. Did you know that last week the Huff, Smith & Farr implement store,
Oh no, not the Huff.
I hate when this happens to implement stores, was burglarized twice Wednesday night. Mr. Farr was called by police when the front door was found unlocked. Farr had unlocked it.
Why?
But when he came back, Farr had locked it.
Oh.
But when he came back in the morning, the door was unlocked and the store ransacked. Nothing of value was taken.
What are implements?
I don't, and that's why nothing of value was taken. Who needs implements?
I need me an implement.
It's like by 1920, implement stores had been phased out because you could ransack the store and nothing of value was taken. Yeah. Oh, poor Huff, Smith & Farr. Let's see what else we got here. This goes back to New Year's Eve. So yeah, they do a little bit of a backlog in the Greeley Crimes of Old Times and Coplog stories that make it into the paper. But on New Year's Eve, a resident used the that was the 9/11 text one. That was on New Year's.
Okay.
And this was also on New Year's. Police responded to a convenience store on 9th Street after a man called to report that he had been roused from a nap by, quote, a bunch of Spanish people doing some sort of dance.
I think that's called. Oh, I was on the subway and a mariachi band came in. Little mariachis. They were small men. They were all playing mariachi.
On the subway?
Yes.
Were they busking?
3 guitars.
Wow.
Like, I was like, oh my God. 3 guitars. Yeah.
So they were like they're busking for money on the subway.
That's mariachis.
Shouldn't have done that. But that's a lot better than what you usually like to break dance and idiots.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I said, of course they come in my car when I'm trying to read. I was like, whoa.
Well, so pay them in pesos and get them off the subway.
They changed to the Express. They went off.
Oh, did they? Why would they do that?
I don't know. I don't want the local.
Maybe they wanted to complete a song. So they wanted to go like 5 stops. They're gonna, clavelitos, clavel, and they want the ding dong, ding dong. Yeah. So, anywho, what else we got here? Let's go elsewhere for some further stories in the news on Greeley Crimes and Old Times.
One woman did give him $1.
Well, okay, un dollar, which let's say at Taco Bell that buys you a full burrito.
Oh God! And then you have to spend time in the bathroom not talking.
See, well, they have to go in because the Orthodox Mexicans, they're like, no puedo gritar. No.
You can't talk like that.
Dateline, Wisconsin.
Ooh, fancy.
A Wisconsin man used an axe.
Oh God!
that any sentence that begins like that would be good. He used an axe to destroy many of his expensive personal items.
Why?
After he thought his wife had damaged his action figures. It's like something like a Big Bang Theory here.
Yeah.
The man then called 911 on himself.
What?
After he realized he had overreacted and damaged $5,000 of his own property.
Yeah, but you can't. What? I mean, that makes no sense to me.
No, that makes absolutely. So he has a rage problem, I do believe.
But then also he has a guilt.
Yeah.
And if you report yourself, I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, he destroyed his own property, so I'm not sure what.
I don't think it's a crime.
Yeah, unless he started destroying the structure of something.
Unless he starts destroying things that were co-owned by his wife, who destroyed the action figures.
Or if he posed a threat to himself or
to her, then she could get a restraining order.
The man, unidentified, they're not naming him, age 34, admitted. He admitted he had been drinking a wee bit.
Yeah.
Well, he used an axe to destroy his TV. TV stand.
Did he do any implements, the destruction?
Laptop computer.
Uh-oh.
And several other items. He then moved outside to smash up the family car, including.
That's stupid because now we won't get insurance.
Oh my! Oh, that's because if you break
Yeah,
your
you broke your own
not accidentally, intentionally, he broke the side mirrors and the windshield.
Uh-oh.
Until eventually, what happened was the axe. He slammed it so hard it got stuck, and then left the axe in the car. Maybe he called the cops to just get the axe out of his car. Oh. Well, I guess he has a broken axle.
He has something to grind, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. And later on, they just both went chopping.
Oh, that's cute.
To the chopping mall. Yes,
like
ladies and
that.
gentlemen.
I like
That's the
that.
kind of humor we do here, because I am a roving blade. Can you get a handle on that?
You're so sharp.
I guess we're not doing any ads.
I think your humor is cutting edge.
Thank you. What is an ad? Do you remember what is an ads?
Edge.
No, ADZE. What's an
I
ads?
don't know.
It's some kind of axe-like thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to axe somebody. Are we ready to finish up this horrible
Yes,
segment?
sir.
Yeah, we are.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. 3 bags full.
Doing our Greeley crimes and old
Or
times.
the
Let's.
words of your people. Maybe James Brown was Jewish
I wonder.
because he was good at grounding.
Right, maybe he learned it in the bathroom.
Yes.
Maybe James Brown, back when he was in his teens,
Yes.
was in a bathroom with Orthodox Jewish men, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm out of paper. I can't say it. What am I? I gotta get paper."
That's very cute.
Eventually, they
You're
understood
very
him.
cute when you do that. That's very cute.
Anywho,
You okay?
a woman
Yeah.
in Maitland, Florida.
Maitland, where's that?
I don't know, but it's in Florida somewhere.
Yeah.
Was hoping to take a leisurely walk with her dog last
Oh
week.
no. Does it involve an alligator?
No,
Okay.
but she became. This is.
Sad?
She became the victim of a brutal attack
Oh god.
by
Squirrels?
a rabid otter.
Well, we saw that, and we saw one in the water. Remember the woman?
That
she's like,
famous
"Look, there's
one
an otter."
in the canoe.
Yeah.
But she was walking her dog
No.
on a bridge. She was on a bridge in Maitland, Florida,
The
over
dog should have
water.
defended her.
This was on January 8th. The attack occurred when Anne Christine Lancelius
Oh god.
was
Yeah,
strolling.
the seals in her name. That's why.
That's why. She was strolling with her Labradoodle Zoe.
Oh god.
I just love the details of this.
But
Her
who's
Labradoodle.
about as vicious as a fly? You know?
When she saw the otter running fast towards her, the rodent bit her left Achilles tendon.
Ew.
Ooh. And of course, it hung on while she was trying to run away.
God.
Since then,
David, she was probably wearing flip flops too.
oh,
It's
yeah.
Florida.
She should have worn her otter shoes.
Or
Thank
she
you.
could have put her phone in the otter box.
High five. Love that. Since January 8th, she's needed rabies shots. Let me go kiss my wife for a moment. Hold on. A lot.
She needed a rabies shot?
Yeah. Well, it's a rodent.
Yeah, that's true.
She needed several rabies shots and can barely walk because of the. I just love
It's
the phrasing
so
of
bad,
this.
the Achilles tendon is
Yeah.
sore.
She can barely walk because of the otter bites. Just the phrasing, the otter
It's so
bites
odd.
on her
It's so-
leg.
It's very uncommon to get bit by an otter.
However, later that day,
Yeah.
a police officer shot and killed an otter near the attack,
Whoa.
which came after officials had warned locals about, quote, an aggressive otter in the area.
Whoa.
Wow. That's a good thing because someone had to put up posters in the post office
Yes, almost
about
one
otters.
enemy.
Because what happens is if you have an otter warning, it takes like 2 weeks for the warning to reach one post office,
Do you
then
remember?
get to the other post
Do you
office.
remember when we first saw otters? We were at a Mexican restaurant on one of your trips with the American Theater Critics. They were building a dam, and you hated them. That's when your despising of otters began.
Well, it was kind of a mock otter hatred because there was this guy. I read an article about a guy who was a photographer for National Geographic for places like this, and it said that he had devoted 26 years of his life to following and photographing otters. And it didn't say it in the article, but it just seemed like a really weird obsession.
Yes.
And I was just, this man, I felt like his life was ruined by this calling. That he probably photographed all kinds of things like baby pictures
Yes.
and landscapes and other animals. And then people just kept calling him to do otters because that was his specialty. And I have him get up every morning and like, go for the camera. It's like, those fucking otters. Those fucking otters. and like slog through the next 15 hours of his day just looking for otters.
I love them.
But no, I never had a thing with that. And then I saw them in a zoo floating on their little backs. Oh my God. And they play with their little toys when they're on their backs. They are, you don't get near one. But oh my God, are they cute?
They're adorable.
Yeah. So, Anyway, speaking of cute, I've got all these women watching the show. I got Mary and Gina and Leanne and Cheryl. Yay. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to the Daverhood for more of Dave's Gone By. The 600.
It's utterly ridiculous.
Is it? We are utterly wonderful here in the Daverhood. If I could just comb my darn hair.
No, forward. Do it forward.
Forward, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. I could do this all day. Nothing's going to happen.
Oh.
Holy crap, am I bald?
I could put some powder on. I don't have powder.
No,
You
no,
should powder
I
your
got the
head.
hat.
Can you powder your head?
I don't powder. I don't put powder on
You
anything.
look so cute. You look young like a little chicken boy.
With a hat on?
Yeah,
I cannot get this. Oh, there. That's sort. No, there is literally no way that this goes straight on my head.
So your head is crooked.
Probably
Your head
is.
crooked.
Anywho, thank you, my darling and adorable wife Joyce, who joined me for the first part of this program, our 682nd episode live on this January 26th, 2019. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. Let's see, raconteur, radio host, theater critic, theater journalist, arts journalist, playwright, director, actor, blah,
blah.
blah.
The rest of my underwear are.
Joyce is asking if I know where the rest of her underwear are.
I only have
This
one
could be
pair of
fun.
underwear. Where's my thing?
I don't know where your thing or your thong.
No, my thing.
Shall we think a thong together?
No, where's my mesh bag?
I don't know where your mesh bag is. Maybe it's in the hamper still, or
no, it's not. Where'd it go?
I don't know. I don't know where Meshy went. Sounds like an old Jewish man. Like, oh, there's Meshy. Meshy. Oh, Meshy's in the bathroom. I think he's in the bathroom, but he'll grunt if he needs something. Oh, well, I'll need that bathrobe momentarily. Oh my God, that's right. I was going to go to Inside Broadway, and I completely forgot the other news segment that we do. You know what that is, babe?
You're a freak?
No, because of course we have, well, I am a freak, but look, this is what they wait for all show long. They sit through all the other stuff. They tolerate Greeley crimes. They tolerate the Saturday Segue. I'm talking, of course, about my potatoes here. It's important that I do the news of the weird, news of the odd. But how can I forget news of the beautiful, news of the wonderful, which has to do with potatoes? What's going on in the world of potatoes and what is important to them? So let's see, I'm going to be approximating the host of this news program today because I actually don't have another outfit to put on. I guess I'll put this on. When you see this hat, I turn into an entirely different character. How's that? And that character is, of course, the great newscaster, journalist Spudward R. Murrow, who will be doing the potato news. I just have to get his theme music going. Here it is. You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing Potato News. Good morning. This is Spudward R. Murrow with the Potato News for today, January 26th, 2019. Extraordinary news in the ketchup world this week. Heinz has announced a special limited edition run of, wait for it, ketchup caviar. Put out especially for Valentine's Day, Heinz's ketchup caviar comes in a small glass jar. The better to show off the little round pearl-like gems of ketchup in the shape of baby fish eggs. There's no actual fish in the recipe, just molecular gastronomy to make classic Heinz ketchup look like that stuff no one really wants to eat on a sushi plate. How do you get ketchup caviar? Not easily. Heinz is manufacturing only 150 jars, and they're not for sale. Oh no, You have to enter a Twitter contest and hope you can be one of the lucky few to win this fancy feast just in time for what the company calls Valentine's Day. I don't make these up, folks. I just read them. You have until this Monday, to enter, and you do have serious competition. No less than theatrical wunderkind Lin-Manuel Miranda of Hamilton renown has tweeted in capital letters, quote, "Send me whatever this is, please. Like you, Lin, whatever it is, it's genius." Now, for those of you who don't appreciate Heinz ketchup, are there any of you? If that's so, you might like to know that Amazon in England is R&D testing its own no-name brand of table sauces like mustard and barbecue sauce and ketchup. Brits are scratching their heads because the Amazon off-brand sauces are 3 times the price of name-brand ketchups. But again, this is just the testing phase to see if Amazon can compete with the big boys when it comes to everyone's favorite condiment. If Amazon finds the sweet spot, perhaps they too will be making caviar ketchup one day. Wow. And where to put it? Well, Delish.com answered an age-old question last week. We're going to have our little potato ask it. Why are McDonald's French fry packages so oddly designed? That's a good question, Papito. The answer is not that they serve as caskets for our late brethren. Rather, you can fold back one side of the tip, pull it back flat, and put ketchup on it. It becomes a dip corner, if you will. Of course, the goal is to get people to dip something else besides our kin, the potatoes, but think of it as a brand new spot for a wading pool of our favorite thing. Terrific story from the food columnist of the Rockdale Newton Citizen newspaper in Georgia.
Nobody knows where the missing bag of underwear is.
My goodness, we've apparently lost a bag of underwear.
Yes, my mesh bag of underwear.
This is a terrible thing, but we're in the midst of potato news here. In an article titled, quote, "A lighter, fresher alternative to mashed potatoes," she writes, quote, "Sometimes a fluffy, creamy side dish is called for, and potatoes just won't do the trick."
Whoa.
Shocker. Enter cauliflower! There's something magical about this gnarly crucifer. When pureed, its flavors converge in a light and delicate mousse, minus the weight and starch of mashed potatoes. It's a great alternative to ubiquitous russets and pairs equally well with just about anything as a side dish. Yes! And she also includes recipes and advice. May the tyranny of Ore-Ida be one day vanquished from the earth. In Long Island weather news, seasonal cold temperatures this week with a deep freeze settling in by Wednesday night. So wear those overpeels and keep those ribbons tight around your hats. This has been Spudward R. Murrow with the Potato News. Good night and good growth. Oh, so thrilled to be providing this public service, this tuberific service for our potatoes with the Potato News on Dave's Gone By. With me, Dave Lefkowitz, here on this Saturday, January 26th, 2019. It's about 20 after 10 in the morning, Eastern Time, here in Long Island, New York. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we changed the time of Dave's Gone By because for a while at least, we moved back east. So I do have to apologize to all the folks who got used to us being on much later in the morning. We used to start at 11 Eastern Time. So, but set your clocks. Get those alarms going so that you know Dave's Gone By is here 9 to 11 or so Eastern every Saturday morning. Well, we did our potato news. We did our Greeley crimes at all times. We can't find Joyce's underwear or her underwear bag. For her delicates. So I was just have to get another one from somewhere.
Yeah, but what's in it?
You mean all your undies
Yes.
are? You wore all your undies and put them in the
And
bag?
my bra.
Well, I just saw your bra.
No, but I have two of them. One is missing with the underwear.
Well, I'm wearing your other bra.
No, but where's my underwear bag?
I don't know. We're gonna have to turn
It's
over
not
the
it's not
hamper.
downstairs in there, and,
And the hamper's not there?
No.
No.
Tell me where is
Let me ask the folks watching at home if you've seen Joyce's underwear bag. If you've seen my underwear bag, you know there's nothing to talk about. But if you've seen Joyce's underwear bag, please alert me immediately. Just leave me a message right here on Facebook, and go looking for it.
Gym clothes to do that?
Of course you can. You've been holding a dog for 2 hours, so yeah, do it up. Anyway, we have much more to do. We've got our Saturday Segue of songs in the news. We've got our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Mm-hmm. What else we got going on? We've got StoryTime, of course. More StoryTime with Rabbi Saul Solomon regaling us with my giant Mitzvah fun book. All of that and more. Well, not that much more, but more on Dave's Gone By for this Saturday. Before we get to all that, as promised, being the theater creature that I am, loving the theater, being a theater critic and playwright, I love doing a segment where I let you know what's happening on and off Broadway. It's kind of a thing where big shows open. I let you know what the critics thought of them. And I review some shows as well. We call the segment Inside Broadway, and it goes a little something like this. Inside Broadway, a look at theater on and off Broadway and beyond. Brought to you by Total Theater and Performing Arts Insider. Curtain going up. Yes, indeed. Cut that right there for Inside Broadway on Dave's Gone By. So let me give you a whole bunch of news and info and reviews and stuff happening on Broadway, which is weird because this is supposed to be the dead time. It's late January. This is tourist gone home time, people hunker indoors time, snowstorm time, shows closing time rather than opening, and yet it's been a pretty busy January for Broadway. Well, and plus Broadway news for shows that might be upcoming. For example, well, here's a mystical story. Mystic Pizza might be getting the musical treatment. It actually will be getting that 1988 movie that was part of the rise to stardom of Julia Roberts. 1 year later, she did Pretty Woman, and she became biggest movie star of her era. But just before it, she did this popular cult comedy called Mystic Pizza. Matt Damon, a very young Matt Damon, was in there too. And it became a cult and still a remembered film. Well, of course, like every other movie made in Hollywood, they're now making a musical version with a score by Melissa Etheridge. So she's doing that, and Sass Goldberg, I don't know who that is collaborating on that. Gordon Greenberg will direct and pen the book, based on the original screenplay by Amy Holden Jones. Now, this is early stages in this. So this could take 3-4 years before we see Mystic Pizza if it makes it to Broadway, but it's certainly in the pipeline. Producers are now, they've optioned the property and they're going to turn it into a show. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Now, speaking of a show that has been around since the 1980s, I do believe, and revived all over the place, including Broadway, it's the classic by Sam Shepard, True West. If you've never seen True West, go on YouTube, put 2 hours aside, and go watch John Malkovich and Gary Sinise be absolutely brilliant in the very funny, very creepy True West. But if not, there is also a production on Broadway. So I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. You're probably better off seeing the Broadway version first, so you're not spoiled by watching John Malkovich exhibit early genius in that TV production. But anyway, yeah, this past Thursday, the Roundabout Theater at their American Airlines Broadway house opened a revival of True West, directed by James MacDonald, and it features Paul Dano. You might remember him from Little Mary Sunshine, or he was on Broadway in the last revival of Inherit the Wind, and Ethan Hawke, plus Mary Louise Burke and Gary Wilmus. It's only a 4-character play. And it's all about this screenwriter and his brother. And they're kind of in the house in the backwoods where one brother has gone to write a screenplay. And he's a family man, he's suburban, he's kind of buttoned up, and he's got a screenplay idea that he has to hash out, and he's got a producer waiting for it to maybe green light it. But he's joined by his other brother, who's much more of a wild card, lone wolf, stranger, scarier guy. And he's not quite going to leave his other brother alone. And it becomes a real test and battle of wills in a comic, but also violent way. Let's see, what about, the show was already revived on Broadway back in 2000. If you remember, the two actors in that production traded roles. So some days of the week, one would be one brother, it was Philip Seymour Hoffman, and then they would literally trade both characters depending on the night. This time, each is staying within one character, Paul Dano and Ethan Hawke. So what did the critics think of this revival of True West? Well, Jessica Dershowitz gave it a B+. She writes for Entertainment Weekly, and she said that Hawke and Dano paired together marvelously. She liked the comedy and the volatility, although she kind of wonders what the heck the play means. It's sort of like, it's supposed to be commenting upon the death of the Wild West and brotherly things, and how even people who seem to be completely different still have the same strand of blood running through them. Yet it's not very clear about that, which is why she gave the show a B+ rather than say an A or an A-. But she said it's tremendously entertaining, even if it has themes and questions that the show doesn't bother to actually answer. Frank Scheck, writing for The Hollywood Reporter, he didn't like it quite as much as Jessica Dershowitz did. He says the play's themes never truly come into focus, but it can be a marvelous mood piece. True West can, but this production is kind of in fits and starts. The American Airlines Theater is not particularly intimate, which hurts. The first act drags a bit. He's not the only critic to say this. And Ethan Hawke, although he's doing all the right things, feels kind of actorly and studied, whereas But Frank Scheck says the comedy still works really, really well, and at times in the second act even borders on farce, which is a bit unexpected. So he did like parts of the show. It's not a thumbs down from The Hollywood Reporter. It is a thumbs down, however, from AM New York and Matt Windman, who said that we get no sense that these two actors, Hawke and Dano, are related by blood. Paul Dano is stiff and superficial. However, Ethan Hawke is an ideal Lee. He's rough and raw, so he feels it's unbalanced. And in fact, he called for there's, as we speak, a revival of True West going on in England. And he's wondering if they could mix and match the casts from the two different productions. Meanwhile, for Variety, Marilyn Stasio, a bit more of a fan of the production. She said it's a funny, violent play, one of Sam Shepard's best. Hawke and Dano have great moments, although they don't seem like they could change personalities, which is kind of the point of the play, that one turns into the personality of the other. There's no sense of real danger. Greg Evans, writing for Deadline, he's also kind of positive. He says this is the show once seemed a fitting metaphor for Hollywood treachery and backstabbery, but after the post-Harvey Weinstein era, quote, who needs metaphors? He just hit the nail on the head. However, the show remains, and everybody says this, it's still an actor's showcase, right? And Ethan Hawke and Paul Dano are worthy. If some of their moves feel studied, still, just try and look away. And finally, Ben Brantley of the New York Times, he loved the revival. He said Ethan Hawke is brilliant, and a tightly wired Paul Dano combined for a, quote, ripping revival of True West. Well, the show is at the American Airlines Theater. I'm expecting to see it this week. So maybe next week or the week after, I will report back to you and give you my own review of True West. But hey, go see it for yourself. It's Broadway. Check it out. Speaking of Broadway, this rumor has been in the middle for weeks. Now it is official. It is confirmed that they're going to be reviving Terrence McNally's comedy drama, Frankie and Johnny in the Clair de Lune. And check out the cast. 6-time Tony winner Audra McDonald and Michael Shannon will play the leads in this two-character play. I can't believe it was all the way back in 1987 that Manhattan Theatre Club first staged Frankie and Johnny in the Clair de Lune. It is going to have its Broadway revival May 2019. They haven't picked the theater yet. It's going to be a Schubert House, but either they haven't picked it yet, or there's a show they're expecting to close, but it hasn't announced the closing yet, so they're waiting. But anyway, Aaron Arbus is going to be directing the show, which, by the way, it first appeared off-Broadway, but there has been a Broadway Frankie and Johnny. It was done back in 2000. I can't believe it was like 18 years ago that Frankie and Johnny was revived, and I'm forgetting the names of both of them, and I can picture them in my head, the two actors who played it. Probably you have them in your head too, but anywho, Terrence McNally, of course, wrote Masterclass and Love, Valor, Compassion. Audra McDonald's last Broadway show was Shuffle Along, and she got her record-setting 6th Tony Award for appearing in Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. Michael Shannon was in the last Broadway Long Day's Journey into Night, for which he was Tony nominated. So Frankie and Johnny and the Clair de Lune coming to Broadway in May. If you want to find out about that show and all the other shows on and off Broadway, you got to get yourself a copy of Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. Since 1944, people in the entertainment industry have turned to Performing Arts Insider to find out the detailed info on every single show. Not just the list of the cast and the designers and the agents, but how to contact them, the phone numbers, the email addresses, how do you get to the people involved in making Broadway and off. There's calendar, chronological listings of when all the shows are starting, previews or opening or closing, as well as incredibly detailed lists of every single production on, off, and off Broadway, plus a very handy index in the back. Now, this is a hard copy journal. This is not just another online publication. You physically get it in the mail, the old-fashioned way, which is kind of nice. You can read it on the train. You can read it on an airplane. You can read it on the toilet, just don't talk to it. But you can get it by going to performingartsinsider.com. performingartsinsider.com. All the info is there, whether you want to sign up for the 21 issues a year edition or just the monthly edition 12 times a year, or even if you want to send away for one issue to find out if it's right for you. It's rather expensive, but the people who subscribe renew year after year because it's the only place they can get all this detailed inside information. You can open a dozen windows on your computer and still not get all the information that Performing Arts Insider gives you for every single show on every single page. performingartsinsider.com. It is the Bible of Broadway. Well, another show that is aiming for Broadway. I mentioned earlier in the program that I saw the Cher show earlier this week, and you've still got the Carole King musical on Broadway, and you had the musicals about John Lennon, and you got a Temptations musical opening. It's just become this clearinghouse for oldies at this point. Well, it continues because the Michael Jackson musical now has its name. It hasn't someone's saying play your sound. Not sure what I've got a bunch of people watching, so I'm assuming my sound is playing. But thank you, Tatsuya. I'll make a little noise. I hope you're hearing the audio. Hope the audio is coming through. But anywho, the Michael Jackson musical, which is going to be Broadway bound in a couple of years, it's going to be called Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. You figure they call it like Thriller, the Michael Jackson musical, right? No, but no, it's called Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. It's got 25 songs by Michael Jackson. I assume some of them with the Jackson 5. Lynn Nottage, a very acclaimed playwright, is doing the book of the show. However, warned that it's co-produced by the Michael Jackson estate. So it will be sort of the official version, and they won't be telling jokes about, why did Michael Jackson run to TJ Maxx? Because they have a big sign, little boy's pants half off. Not going to be doing that. Not going to be making those kinds of jokes about Michael Jackson. Anyway, the show is trying out in Chicago, and they're saying that they're eyeing Broadway in 2020, so only a year or so away. We shall see. Speaking of Michaels, in terms of places you can buy clothing, and Michael Jackson's, there's another show, another movie, that's turning into a musical, and it involves a Michael, a magic Mike, and it's going to be trying out in Boston this year, in December to early January. The producers of Magic Mike include Channing Tatum, who of course starred in the original film, and Steven Soderbergh, who directed it. The director is Trip Coleman, and the score, this is a pretty cool duo writing the musical, Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie. They did Next to Normal, with Robert Aguirre Sacasa doing the book. He wrote for Glee and a couple of other places. Choreography is by Camille A. Brown, who did the musical staging for Once on This Island. So they have some real serious people working on Magic Mike the Musical, which tells the story of a college student making extra money as a male dancer. Okay, so that's all kind of good, exciting, fun news of shows that are in the pipeline for Broadway. Now, and I always on Inside Broadway, we have to give some sad news, some news of farewell. And we have to bid farewell this week to Kay Ballard, who passed away on Monday at the ripe age of 93. Born Catherine Gloria Balotta, Kay Ballard actually toured with Spike Jones and the City Slickers. And then her first real theatrical assignment was on TV. She was in the original Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella TV broadcast that a couple of years ago they finally turned into an actual Broadway musical. She introduced the song Lazy Afternoon in the 1954 musical The Golden Apple. And in terms of other theater assignments, she was in the off-Broadway, and I guess it moved to Broadway, Pirates of Penzance, the famous Joseph Papp version with Linda Ronstadt. She played Rosalie in the musical Carnival, and she did have that one big shot of originating a starring role on Broadway. She played Molly. Go figure that Catherine Gloria Balotta would be cast as Molly Goldberg. How do they think of these things in terms of casting? But yeah, they tried to make a musical of the Goldbergs, not the current Goldbergs that you see on TV, but the very Jewish ethnic Goldbergs that was a radio hit that they then brought to TV, tried to make into a Broadway musical called Molly, and I think it ran barely a week. So that did not work for her. But what did, and what really made her a star, is she did a lot of TV too. She was on the Perry Como show, she was on the Doris Day show, and best known, of course, if you grew up when I did, you would see the repeats of this all the time, of The Mothers-in-Law with Eve Arden. Remember that show? That was Kay Ballard. Anyway, 5 years ago, in her late 80s, Kay Ballard was still doing cabaret until she retired officially in 2015. Her autobiography was called How I Lost 10 Pounds in 53 Years. Farewell to the late, great Kay Ballard from the Daverhood. Well, I want to tell you about a show, if I could find the playbill for it. I thought I had it with me in front of me, but I don't know where it went. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Where did I put it? Oh, well. I must have moved it somewhere and put it in the wrong place, or maybe here. Nope, it isn't. Well, forgive me, because I would have had the cover to show you. But earlier this week, on my birthday, I went for the matinee of a new play, a new play on Broadway called American Son by Christopher Demos Brown. It's directed by Kenny Leon. And if you have any interest in seeing it, this is your last chance, because today matinee, tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon are the last 3 performances of American Son, starring Kerry Washington and Stephen Pasquale. Now, since it was a Wednesday matinee, late into the run, of course, one of the cast members was out of it. Stephen Pasquale was out, and he was understudied by Brian Avers, who was perfectly good in his... Well, let me talk about the play itself. It's a drama. It's an issue oriented drama. It's a real kind of issue play with characters on several sides of an issue taking their places and not really standing for mouthpiece of the author, but at least arguing the sides of an issue in an impassioned way, which is part of what theater is all about, right? So here's the deal. The play opens on a miserable rainy night in a rather comfortable police station in Florida. And this black woman keeps checking her cell phone. She's sitting there, played by Kerry Washington, and she's waiting for news about her son. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and her son, who is a good student, he's going to be on his way to West Point. He's a good kid, a nice, decent person, raised right, and he's always home by midnight, except he hasn't come home tonight. And she is terrified. She's wondering where he is, knowing that he's a teenager, knowing that he's a young black man in America. And so even though it's only a couple of hours that he hasn't come home, she heads to the police station looking to trace him, looking for help. So the first thing that happens is a newbie, sort of rookie cop comes out, tries sort of to help her, but he's not allowed to really give her any information. He's not the cop sort of assigned to whatever it is. So he barely gives her anything and tries to calm her down. But of course, she's really scared and she's wondering what's happening. So they have that going on. And of course, he's a white cop. And then her her estranged husband comes to the police station as well. And he is an FBI agent, and he's white and very buttoned down and tie wearing, and he's the one who kind of pushed their kid to go to West Point to be sort of white behaving in a black world to get along. And so he, for various reasons, has walked out on her a couple of months ago. He's got another girlfriend, he's going on another life, so she has resentment towards him. He has issues with her and the way now their kid is being raised, because even though he has pushed their son to behave a certain way, the son is also trying to say, hey, I'm not a white kid, upper middle class, even though they are up and they have money. I'm going to find out also the other side of this. And we have friends who are not driving Lexuses. Okay, so that's the dynamic going on. You've got these three people, the wife and the estranged husband, this white cop who's just kind of stonewalling them. And then in the last third of the play, where it really even cranks up a bit, is they get the senior police officer who comes in a bit early because he's been assigned to the case. They found the vehicle that the son was driving, and it was in a traffic incident with police. But what actually happened, and where is her son? That's the whole story. That is the arc, the plot of the play, if you will. Is arguments about husband and wife over the raising of the son, arguments with cops over how much information they're going to give out, and to say, hey, I realize you need 48 hours to file a missing persons report, but no, he's not missing. He's somewhere in your system, and you're not telling me what's going on and why not. And one of the tragedies, the sad parts of the play, is that you get the feeling at the end of it that the police have known from the very beginning of what we are watching what happened, but they're not going to tell her or us until the very last moment. So it is, by turns, a fairly gripping play. It is obviously also an argumenty play, but it's never remotely boring. There are times when there are bits of cliche and some easy lines. I mean, they even joke about this. There's a box of donuts that the policeman eats, and he said, "Yeah, I like donuts. We like donuts. We do." I mean, little bit easy because it gets a really kind of easy laugh from the audience early on. Don't need that. And they don't need certain lines like that go for obvious laughs or bits of one-upmanship. But then there are other sequences that are quite good, and where one character who is espousing a certain kind of belief. And then one very good thing about the writing of the play is you've got the mother who is staunchly defending the raising of, letting their son be the person that he wants to be and discover his black roots and wear his hair in cornrows and be with his friends as opposed to all these white kids who look up to him to be some sort of role model at the prep school that he's at. But at the same time, so we know that this is the tack that she's taking with the police to defend her son and her raising of her son to the cops and to her husband. Meanwhile, we learn that she's actually been arguing bitterly with her son and warning him, hey, if you do this, you put yourself in a position in the real world with scared police officers and white people all over the place to look at you in a certain way that makes you more of a target. So it's this marvelous dichotomy of the way she defends her son to other people, but the way that she actually argues with her kid, who is, by the way, never actually seen in the play. All of that is backstory. So, and my problem really only with the play is that it could have used one more scene at the end of it. The ending, you find out what happens, they don't leave you in the lurch, but it ends really abruptly. And I know the playwright wants to sort of shock us and go, aha, and then sort of leave us like, oh, well, but it needs something else, a little 2-minute epilogue, a tail end to it. And I think if the playwright ends up doing revivals of this, which I'm sure will, and it ends up getting done all over the place, and backs away a little from this play that was written in heat, written in anger, we'll think more of it and add on a little bit more. Sort of like Death of a Salesman, where we don't necessarily need that whole burial scene, and it's a little much, but you do need something. Anyway, it's called American Son. I give it 3 stars, almost 3.25 stars, really. It is definitely worth seeing. And as I said, you have just till tomorrow afternoon to see it. Now, I want to give a shout out also from veteran African-American actor Eugene Lee. He comes in the last third of the show, and he's just marvelous. He has this very calm but no-nonsense way of playing the veteran police officer, and because we're getting a little tired of these 3 other characters going round and around in circles. He comes in, and the whole dynamic of the show changes. Really, I hope he gets a Tony nomination. Eugene Lee playing Officer Stokes. Kerry Washington, very believable, de-glamorized, holds the stage, even though she doesn't really have a theater voice. It's like a television voice, and you can certainly hear her, but she doesn't have the pipes of a Broadway actor yet. When she does more plays, she'll get it. As I said, Brian Abrams, one of the issues with the show, they had the understudy for the husband, one of the major roles. So he was good in his way, a little glib, a little, and certainly zero chemistry. You can't remotely imagine him and Kerry Washington as a married couple for a bunch of years and having raised the kid. It really seems like coming from another play and another planet. But hey, give the guy credit. He had to step in on a matinee and do a role he wasn't accustomed to. So American Son recommended at the Booth Theater on Broadway today and tomorrow. Have one more bit of Broadway information for you before I get to the rest of the Dave's Gone By program. And it's a television thing, and it's tomorrow night on Fox TV at 8 Eastern Time. They're not gonna pay rent. Want to let you know that Rent, the live TV musical, is going to be tomorrow night on Fox TV. The producers of that event include Julie Larson, who is the sister of the late Jonathan Larson, who wrote Rent in the first place. She said she felt this is the right time, I guess politically, to bring the show finally to television, because they've been thinking about it for the past couple of years. Cast members include Vanessa Hudgens playing Maureen. That was the role originated by Idina Menzel. Tinashe is Mimi. Valentina, who is a drag queen, is playing Angel. And we also have some real theater people in the cast as well. People like Brandon Victor Dixon, who was in Shuffle Along, and Kayala Settle, who was in Hands on a Hard Body. She'll be singing the solo part in Seasons of Love. And Alton Fitzgerald White will be in the program as well. It's a 3-hour event, and they promised that the show is, they've had to trim some of the language from the show, and they've also had to trim the timing of the piece because it's a 3-hour slot with a bunch of commercials in it. But at the same time, they're saying that they've kept the heavy issues. They're not watering down the LGBT stuff, the AIDS stuff, the squatting in New York apartment stuff, some of the sexual material. So we're going to see Rent tomorrow night on Fox TV. And I lied. I promised there was one more theater item, but I've got one more as well. Happy birthday, or I should say anniversary, to Phantom of the Opera. The polar opposite of Rent, if you think about theater. But it's Phantom of the Opera at Broadway's Majestic Theater. It opened on January 26th, so 31 years ago today, in 1988, starting its 32nd year. The book is by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Richard Stilgoe. Music by Lloyd Webber. Lyrics by Charles Hart. You know the story. It's a demon living under the Paris Opera House who falls for a promising soprano, and it's reaching 13,000 performances this coming in April. So in honor of Phantom reaching this incredible, it is the longest running Broadway show in history. I think Chicago is second, and it's 10,000 performances behind. Nothing will ever catch up in my lifetime to Phantom of the Opera. So let's hear a little bit of the theme of The Phantom. Yes, we know Sarah Brightman from the original. Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of a costume change here. Man. Look who's come to say hi.
I found my underwear bag. It fell behind the chute.
Fell behind what chute? In the bathroom? Oh, there we go. Joyce found her underwear bag. This is an exciting thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, yes. As I make the fabulous transition, because, well, okay. Dave Lefkowitz doing the Dave's Gone By Facebook program of the stream. We've got a Saturday Segue coming up. We've got Colorado Limerick for the Damned. But before all then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get Hebraic with you. Because, yeah, you can't tell, it's me.
Where'd David go? Where's David going?
I don't know. He's fading into an entirely different character. Unrecognizable.
Does he have a Torah?
He has a Torah, and more importantly, he has a book.
Does he need a menorah?
No, I don't think he can handle. Oh. Anyway, he just has the book for.
Does he need a crayon?
Story time.
Oh.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Remember what you said. You promised me. You said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Yep. Story time. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am delighted. And I have even, look at this, I've got seltzer. Is there anything better than a good kosher seltzer to start my day? Seltzer and Torah. I held the Torah upside down.
It's got natural.
It has natural flavors like beaver tuchus in there. So, not in the Torah, in the actual seltzer. But here we go. Torah time, no. Story time,
Torah time?
Yes. Because we are going to continue reading from the beautiful book that is my giant mitzvah book. Look at my giant mitzvah fun book. Look at the fun that we're having with a little Torah here dancing along there with the, what the hell are those little buckets of paint? I don't know why. And then we've got, the dancing mitzvah tank. Or, the tzedakah box. Tzedakah mitzvah tank. What's wrong with me?
No, but you make a mitzvah.
You do make a mitzvah by giving tzedakah. So give to the poor, which is essentially my congregation. Just write a check to me. We could use it. Anywho.
I thought your checking account closed and you can't cash checks anymore. The bank banned you.
Oh, I'm banned from every bank in America, ladies and gentlemen. This coloring and activity book belongs to all of us, my friends, as we do story time. So we made it part of the way through this book last Saturday, last Shabbos. So let us continue.
You read Leah's guess?
With my, what guess what?
I read Leah's guests. The Leah's guests one.
Where's that?
On the prayer page.
Oh, this here. Yeah. When we tried
Recap.
We do a recap of, that's Leia's guests here. Going through this maze to get through whatever. Help Leia's guests find their way to her house by finding the correct way through the maze, which is, God would use a drone, essentially. That would be the easiest thing to do. But we did this last week. We did the maze. Now we go further into the joys of the Mitzvah book. For example, we do a little bit of match game here.
Match game.
Match me, which says circle.
Here's your yad. Here's your, you can guide them with this.
Oh, I can. Thank you very
It's
much.
a Charlie Brown pencil.
Here's my yad. I can't read this. Circle the picture in each row that matches the picture in this square. So this is kind of have to be sort of an idiot not to get this. So,
What's
here's
the age range of it, Rabbi?
Tell you the age range is fetus, I think. Look, so here we go. Look there. Here's book, right?
Yeah.
What kind of book? Can you find the book that looks like this book? Take your time.
No.
Is it this one?
No.
Is it this one?
Yes.
Oh, let's try. What the hell is this thing? Can't even see. It's a picture. These. I need my glasses checked. All right, here we go. Look, look at coffee.
I tried these.
Yeah, that'll be a lot better.
Oh, God.
Everything's falling down here. It's like the Tower of Babel.
Isn't your cousin not an optometrist?
My eyes. So much better. Thank you. Oh, now I can see. Look at this. Now I can look. See, here's a picture where one of these things is just like the other. Which of these things absolutely belongs? There we get these things.
It's not like the other.
By the way, how many words can you make using the letters in the words Bikur Cholim, which is to make the sick well? How many words can you make?
What book is this?
I have no.
This is like the Orthodox Totoro book.
Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be Hebrew words or regular words. So we got Bikur Cholim. So we got, let's see, Lock, I think is in there. Hulk.
No, you're making Hebrew.
Milk. Oh, bulk. Okay, give up. Cub. Oh, yeah, three-legged words. There we go.
Look for baby words, David.
Blim. Is blim a word? Bilm?
Yes, bilm.
Clum.
I think bilm. When you don't pay them, they send the collections agency if you don't pay your bilm. Right?
Who,
You.
Yeah, bum is in there. Bum we can do.
That's
okay.
Disgusting.
No, I was thinking of a different kind of bum.
You gotta say like this.
Let's move on to this book, shall we? Such joyful fun we're having.
Oh, God.
Look at this. Look at this. Victim of an anti-Semitic attack. They knocked him down on the road.
And why isn't he wearing a helmet? And why is the bunny watching?
There's the bunny.
Was the bunny involved?
Bunny's in the clan. So you've got the poor Jewish boy. He's been knocked down on his skates, on his tuchus. He's got a horrible cut.
And no helmet. Draw a helmet, Rabbi.
He figures that the yarmulke
How can this be a giant
Hashem.
mitzvah fun book when the man's almost dead with the thing? That's not
Look
fun.
at him. Look at him. He's hurt. He's sad. They're both sad.
No, he's happy. He's got the Star of David on him.
That's true.
He's sad Zola.
I'm hoping this is just a fall down injury and not a molestation.
You know the next page is going to be a personal injury lawyer.
Close enough. Look. It's a card from Rubinstein and Berkowitz injury lawyers that they're bringing him to it doesn't look like a hospital. It looks like he's
How come there's no adults and how come the bunny is now bunny slippers?
Well, maybe the bunny did it. Maybe this is the revenge. They turned him into this.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's horrible.
Well, if you can walk a mile in my bunny shoes.
Yeah.
So now the child is bringing him a card from the lawyers. The little boy is still sort of sad. He's still kind of upset. He may be paralyzed.
Oh,
May have been a really bad accident.
He's not paralyzed.
How do you know? Look at him.
It says feel better. It doesn't say regain use of your legs. Maybe it does. I don't read Hebrew.
And of course, that little card, Refuah Shlema, get well soon.
Oh,
Isn't that nice? All right. Now let's hold on. We move to more. Remember, this is the fun book.
Yes.
Look how much fun we're having here.
That's very fun. I'm sure he's having a lot of fun.
Oh, on the next page. So we want to heal this sick little boy. We want to make him feel better. And so we say Bikur Cholim for someone who is sick. Connect the dots to see, oh wait, didn't we do this last time? No, we did this already. Am I going backwards because it's left to right? I don't know.
You're not used to doing Hebrew. You're supposed to go from the back of the book.
Yeah, because we did the stupid bear.
You got to go to the back, from the back.
Oh, did I?
You should have, Rabbi. That's how the Jewish people read, back to front.
Well, no, but this is the front. No. I'm all confused here. All right, Bikur Cholim, draw the fucking bear. There it is. Connect the dots to see what Chani brought Rivki when she was sick.
Aww,
And there's opioids inside the bear that they're smuggling to her. And by the way, what doesn't belong? Circle the correct answer here. You've got a apple, a pear, a red pepper. I don't know what the hell. What is that? What's that? Pomegranate? I actually don't know what that. I assume this is a fruit. So this probably doesn't belong. Or wait, are all these red? And this is not. I don't know this book. I can't tell you this. Anyway, let's get the brachas.
Did you prepare it all for the segment?
Not at all.
You don't seem prepared.
Draw a line
By yelling, it doesn't make you prepared.
between the food and the bracha. So we saw these fruits and vegetables before. Now here's the prayer. Here's the edible items. So look at this. We got a cupcake. We got bananas. We got a challah. Was more of an Italian loaf. What is it? Pretzels. Probably hard and stale like you have them in New York. A lollipop. French fries. Bad thing for this program. A can of cola. This thing, which might be an onion. Here's an actual challah bread. And a bottle of yayin. A bottle of wine, which is also being brought to the kid in bed to get him started early. So, Borei Pri Ha'adama. What comes from the ground? Which would be an Adama thing?
The lollipop.
No, very, very good.
The pretzels.
Borei Pri.
Oh, the French fries.
Well, those are from the Adama, actually. Borei Menei Mezunot. I forget what that one was. I'm not a very good rabbi, am I?
Really good, Rabbi.
Hamon Silek Amin. All right, so we got two of those. We got
Did
that.
you prepare it all for this segment?
You asked me that. No, I did not. Here we go. Borei Pri Agafen. And we know that's this.
Can you read Hebrew, Rabbi?
Barely. I'm doing this from rote memory. Borei Pri Haaretz. So a lot of things that come from the ground there. That would be the.
What comes from the ground?
And Borei, what the hell? Shahavel Nihiyeh B'dvarei. I don't even know. Whatever. I'm the bracha you say when you eat a new fruit. And say, please God, don't let me get AIDS. So that's just a little comedy there.
They're not called fruits anymore.
I know this. Now we have, there's even more to this book. Will the fun never end?
Nassau Downs, OTB.
Okay. Actually, I have Nassau Down syndrome. It's very, very bad. Here we go. My giant mitzvah fun book continues with, what is this? This is, so the kid's okay. He's out of bed. His sister's there, and they're reading something. What the hell are they reading?
Do you know if it's his sister?
They're doing this. They're saying grace after the meal. They're doing the Merkat Hamazon.
They don't look well. Wow.
They don't. No, they're
sickly children.
Of course, they're sickly children. They're inbred for the last 100 years. It's like we're lucky they don't have three noses. Anywho, we got the bread. We got this. We got this. We got this. There's not that much going on here. Nothing funny either. All right, let's turn the page. Now they've eaten. It's time for more Torah, more studying, more homework, more books. Look at that. See? They're reading, they're studying. Notice it's a boy and his friend. It's two boys there. I wonder what they're studying. They got the lamp on this side. And what else? What else do they got here? And they're doing it's got 5 more minutes. So in 5 more, because it's 5 to 5.
Yeah.
So as soon as 5 o'clock, they'll take a break. They'll have a cupcake or something. They'll have some of the food on the other page. They'll have to wander through the previous pages to get that food. And then, what else? Oh, boy. Then comes work. Yes, because if you're Jewish and a child, your fun time.
Why did you work on Shabbos? Look at the candles.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a very well, the candles have not yet been lit.
No,
so they're preparing for Shabbos. They're going to light the candles. So, of course, and this is kind of good. They're both doing housework.
Yes.
which is a rather enlightened thing
Yes,
for
very
2000 and whatever.
egalitarian Jewish book.
So you got one kid. Why you would get a 3.5-foot Jewish boy to watch a 6-foot window? I don't. Are you going to put him on a ladder and he falls down and breaks the rest of his body?
I think so. Potato fell.
And then, of course, we've got the girl, the Cinderella girl, mopping. What the hell's in her head? Oh, she's got a little
I think she
spider
has
in her head.
lice.
Yeah.
Lice.
Probably does. And then just mopping the floor. So what will happen is the boy will reach too high, fall off from the window, then trip on the wet floor, and basically they'll have a page where they show a funeral, an actual Jewish
He
funeral.
just recovered and they're making him clean.
I know, right? And then, oh boy, we get through a day. Nighttime, my friends.
Yay.
Time to say the Shema Yisrael again, to look outside at the crescent moon because the Arabs are out there waiting to kill us. Then you've got the little girl lying in her
What's
bed,
she saying?
in her little dolly, and she's doing the Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam, Va'ed. The little dolly is praying with her.
She's got 2 dollies.
She's got 2. Oh my goodness, she's got 2.
The rich
It's
girl.
not quite a minion, but it's
That's
close.
right.
She's got a third of a minion going on. She's got her slippers under the bed, or that might be a thing to collect urine. It's hard to tell. The stars outside her
Why is there
window.
money on your pillow?
And
Why did the dog put money on the pillow?
I do not know how that happened. And then finally, look, the joy, the excitement of balloons from the dancing Torah, the dancing tzedakah box, and balloons that I guess you can color in.
You put your name in there.
Oh!
You put Gittel, Shlomi,
Right, Moishi,
Moishi.
Yechezkiel,
Yes.
Avigdor. Yes, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, didn't we have a time,
Yes, that was wonderful.
my friends, doing the giant mitzvah fun book
Yes.
on the Dave's Gone By
That was
program.
a good time.
Good times, good Jewish times. Well,
Good Jewish, clean Jewish fun.
I wish you, of course, very good Jewish times as we move from January into February, my friends. This is
Why are you talking like that?
like what? Like an old Jew?
No, like
Look what you're looking at.
No, Joe Franklin.
The late, the great Joe Franklin, my friends. But no, this is Rabbi Sol wishing you a very happy end of the month. Stay warm, stay dry, stay cool,
Hey, buddy.
and shalom to you from the Daverhood on Story Time with me. Shalom. Play the thing.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. Remember what you said. You promised me, you said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 after 10 it's 10 after 11, in the morning, Mountain Time, here in Hewlett, New York, where we are doing the Dave's Gone By Facebook video program on the stream. And yes, and if you're new to the program, if you've never tuned in before, the show used to run about 3, sometimes 4 hours long. We're trying to tighten it up a little bit and make it a 2-hour show. Not quite happening. We were here since 9, and we're not quite done yet. In fact, we have our Saturday Segue of songs in the news still to come on this broadcast. So yeah, we go a bit over time. Hang with us. Stay with us. Hell, back when we were doing this in Colorado, we would just be getting on the air right around now. So there's a little extra, a little bonus Dave's Gone By material just for you. So what's next on the program? As I said, our Saturday Segue. But before then, one of the segments that I really enjoy doing is kind of honoring the friends of the Daverhood. These are people who have appeared on the program in months and years past. They've been our guests on the show because they're promoting a movie that they're in, or they're on Broadway or off-Broadway, or they've got a song, or whatever reason we've had them on. And then years pass, and we wonder what they're up to. A lot of celebrities and not quite so well-known celebrities. We call them friends of the Daverhood, and this is how we honor them. Oops. Okay. I hit the wrong button there. Oh well. Anyway, friends in the neighborhood, we kind of let you just know what people who've been on this program have been up to in the past few months or years. For example, want to tell you that if you're in Rockland County, New York, up near Suffern, Neil Berg's 50 Years of Rock and Roll, Part 2, is tonight. It's at the Rockland Cultural Arts Theater in Suffern, New York, tonight, Saturday night, January 26th. Also appearing tonight, Ann Hampton Calloway doing the Linda Ronstadt Songbook. That is at Birdland in Manhattan. For more information, go to birdlandjazz.com. Hadestown, this is playing in London, has been for several weeks. It closes today. It features our friend Andre DeShields. You didn't get to see it? That's okay, because Hadestown is going to be opening on Broadway in the spring. Want to tell you that Tanya Pinkins, the actress and director, is staging a play called Till We Meet Again at the 14th Street Y. The plot has to do with World War II surgeon who is experiencing PTSD. It's called Till We Meet Again, directed by Tanya Pinkins, and that is happening tonight. Daphne Rubin Vega, this is kind of neat. You know, we were just mentioning on Inside Broadway that Rent is going to be on Fox TV tomorrow night. Well, she's hosting a Rent viewing party at New York Theater Workshop on East 4th Street. Now, of course, you know that when Rent first opened, before it moved to Broadway, it was produced and done at New York Theater Workshop, kind of put them on the map. So Daphne Rubin Vega, who was in the original Rent off and then on Broadway, is hosting a special party, viewing party for the TV Rent at NYTW. That is happening tomorrow evening. On Monday, our friends, both Ed Asner and Tova Feldshuh, doing the Jewish-oriented play, The Soap Myth. Yes, it's a Holocaust play that is happening at the Center at West Park on West 86th Street, Monday evening, January 28th. Starting on Monday and then running through mid-February, they are reviving a play that was just off Broadway or off Broadway. It's called Tevye Served Raw. Is coming back to the Playroom Theater with our friend Alan Lewis Rickman. And then, again, Ed Asner and Tova Feldshuh doing The Soap Myth. If you miss them in Manhattan, they're going to be in the Suffolk Jewish Community Center in Comac, New York. That is this Tuesday night. On Wednesday, on Wednesday, there's a play called The Wrath of Connie with Julie Holston in it, and that's going to be a reading because they're just getting the play read to see how it plays. Is by John Marins. He's the playwright who wrote Old Wicked Songs. But Julie Holston is in it, and it's at the Friars Club. I'm good. Thanks, man. And that is happening on Wednesday. Then, starting on Wednesday and running through mid-March at Manhattan Class Company in New York, a new musical called Alice by Heart, co-written by Duncan Sheik. He's the guy who did Spring Awakening, and our friend Stephen Sater. And then we've got, what else do we have? Peter Felicia. Now, Peter Felicia, one of the big experts on American musical theater that we have out there. A very fine and fun writer. He's written for Playbill, he's written for a bunch of different publications, but he is also, like all of us at heart, a playwright. So Peter Felicia has written a play. It's called God Shows Up, and it's at the Playroom Theater on West 46th Street, running from the end of January till the middle of February. God Shows Up at the Playroom Theater. Starting on February 1st and running through mid-February at Shetler's Studio in Midtown Manhattan, Peter B. Hodges played the Glen. Okay, I don't know who that is, but the Glen is loosely based on the life of an acquaintance of mine, a fellow who was on one of our Tony shows, Glenn Loney, the late, very smart theater critic and photographer. Miss him. He died last year. Glenn Loney, he inspired this guy to write this new play called The Glen. And you can see it at the Shetler Studio in Manhattan, starting at the beginning of February. Running now through tomorrow, Waiting for Godot in Yiddish. New Yiddish Repertory is doing that. It's got the artistic director, David Mandelbaum. He will That's going to be playing at the 14th Street Y on First Avenue. For more information, go to newyiddishrep.org. Meanwhile, National Yiddish Theater's Fiddler on the Roof is playing. Zalman Latek is the musical director of the show. And of course, Fiddler has lyrics by Sheldon Harnick. And that will be moving to Stage 42 in February. So if you missed The Fiddler, that got wonderful reviews, it's directed by Joel Gray. So don't worry, it's going to be having a longer run off Broadway starting in February. Thomas G. Waits, our recent friend of the Daverhood, he co-wrote and stages a play called Barefoot that is at the Gene Frankel Theater on Bond Street, running through February 10th. Running through February 17th on Broadway, the show Choir Boy features our friend, I'm sorry, just ask me what? No, I'm good, thank you so much. Yeah, now if I have more coffee, I'll be bouncing off the walls. Choir Boy with Austin Pendleton. That is on Broadway at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater. Manhattan Theater Club is producing that, and you have a couple more weeks to see that. If you're in Florida, make sure to see Avi Hoffman as part of Yiddishkeit at the Betsy. It's this program of readings and plays and seminars that he is coordinating there. It is in South Beach, Florida. That's Yiddishkeit at the Betsy. And finally, some Broadway stuff. Beautiful, the Carole King musical at the Sondheim Theater features a book by Douglas McGrath. The Band's Visit has a score by David Yazbek. That's at the Barrymore Theater. Come From Away by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. That is at the Gerald Schoenfeld Theater. Daniel Breaker is playing Aaron Burr in Hamilton on Broadway at the Richard Rogers Theater. Danny Burston is on Broadway in My Fair Lady. He's playing Doolittle in the show. And Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Plus on TV, Leslie Jordan and Vicki Lawrence. You can see them in the comedy The Cool Kids on Fox Network. Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com. Check that website out for information about New York nightlife. Dr. Demento, still doing Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And finally, Eva Heinemann, her theater review show High Drama is on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and so is Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake's Two on the Aisle. Finally, Bob Cudmore does podcasts of upstate New York history at bobcudmore.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood for, this Saturday, January 26th, 2019. Don't go away, we got a bit more Dave's Gone By for ya. La, la, la. All right, well, it is 20 after 11 Eastern Time here in the Hewlett Daverhood. By the way, say welcome to some folks who've been watching for a while. Warhol, good old Warhol's back, and James and Frank and Peggy and Yvette. Ooh, we have an Yvette watching, and all the other folks who sent comments and thumbs up and hearts and all that kind of thing. Hi, Peggy. Chocolate Diva is back. Oh, wonderful, Peggy. And she's writing some comments and things too. So yay, and she wished me, as did 400 plus people this past week, a happy birthday. Happy birthday on Facebook. Excuse me. Kind of tough to talk for 2 hours nonstop, but I'm doing it because we're doing Dave's Gone By here on this Saturday. What's nice is I get a slight little musical break, little one, for our next and final segment of the program, our Saturday segue of songs in the news. And this is kind of cool. This is where, kind of a game, where I'll play a little bit of a song, about 25, 30 seconds of a song. And your job is to figure out why I'm playing it, not just because I want to hear it, because it might have something to do with something going on in the news, in current events, in the world at large. It's our Saturday segue of songs in the news. Extra, extra, hear all about it. We provide the rhymes, you provide the reasons. It's our Saturday segue of songs in the news. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I just realized we also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We haven't done that yet, so we'll save that for the end. But until then, put on your ear-thinking caps, whatever the hell that means, because it is time to do some songs, parts of some songs, and your job, should you choose to accept it, is to figure out, aha, I know why Dave is playing that. For example, let's begin with this number from the wonderful singer-songwriter Amy Rigby.
So here's the deal for you and me. I've worked it out oh so carefully. It's all about two people who will only do what they want to do.
Yes, two people who only do what they want to do, two people who have worked it out. And those people, I guess you could say, are Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi, because middle of the day yesterday, let's face it, Trump caved, as well he should have, on the whole government shutdown thing. He started the shutdown 35 days ago. And he said he would own it. He said, hey, this is going to be my shutdown. I won't blame the Democrats. And of course, a day later after the shutdown started, he blamed the Democrats. And he said, look, I want to pass this budget, but it's going to have $5.7 billion for a wall. And the Democrats said, no way, even though the Democrats were perfectly for a wall months and months ago, but maybe not one that cost $6 billion just to get started. And Trump, being the blustery baby that he was, held 800,000 American workers hostage, not to mention thousands of people in airports and going to visit museums and national parks. So we had a ridiculous, pointless standoff. This one almost double the length of every other standoff that has ever happened, all these partial government shutdowns and stuff. And I assumed that the shutdown would last either 50 days, and then by the 51st day, things would explode. Or I thought maybe, a month goes by and people don't get paid. They miss one paycheck for people who get paid once a month. I thought 2 months would have to go by for that second missed monthly paycheck. For people, someone who is even getting paid $800, $1,000 a week, right? If you miss a monthly paycheck for 2 months in a row, that's like $8,000 that you don't have to pay your kids' college tuition, to pay your car payments, to pay your mortgage payments, to just get a check to the landlord, to put food on the table. So, people who live paycheck to paycheck usually can get by, have a little left over to scrape by, especially if you can keep things on credit card, if a lot of stores and places were granting amnesty to federal workers who are not getting paid, because that was the right thing to do. But if that second paycheck had gone by, I didn't realize that yesterday was the second paycheck. And that was the day that the workers said, and notice how even politicians, high up billionaire politicians, kind of eventually have to listen to the people when they're en masse, because the people took it. These workers, it's tough to look for other jobs. You can't just quit. Not like you're suddenly going to be hired tomorrow for another gig. So you've got these workers and they say, okay, there's a shutdown. We're not getting paid now, but we will get paid retroactively when this nonsense is over. And then the nonsense was a week and 2 weeks, and they missed a paycheck and things started getting tight and edgy. Friday was that second paycheck. And that's when the blue flu started. That's when people at the airports started saying, I'm not showing up. I'm going to take 4 hours to process these people, so they're going to start missing airplanes. There are going to be airport delays, right? There's going to be not such good people getting checked in at borders and border security for TSA. We're not going to clean the bathrooms in national parks. We're not going to have whole areas of national parks accessible because people didn't wake up and come in this morning. When the people did that yesterday, that was it. Donald Trump just had to say, this is going to turn into something ugly and chaotic, and signed the bill and did not get the money for his wall. He did not solve the problem. He opened the government for literally 2 more weeks. February 15th, we're back almost in the same exact position again. I can only hope that the Democrats, and they won't, but that they'll come in good faith to the table and really work out something for legitimate border security, not necessarily some ridiculous wall, but in places that could use a physical barrier, a wall, put up something, maybe put up a lot of money for drones that people can watch on computer monitors from a quarter mile away, hire more, since we have so many jobs and so few people to fill them, have good paying jobs as more border guards, more security people, more people processing, more people both on the Mexican side and our side of the border, making sure people have water and sanitary conditions, and just doing the paperwork to see that, hey, if we want these people in America, let them in, let them work, let them try for visas, let them go to university, etc., and become part of our American system, because only 0.00001% of them are the bad guys, bringing drugs and MS-13 gang stuff. So if it won't happen, but if both sides could just kind of say, Democrats say, hey, here's $2 billion, which is a drop in the bucket in our insane federal deficit that this Republican president, who came in, as Republicans do, saying they have to cut federal spending, signed into law because he's so into the military, right? So what is $2 billion compared to $1 trillion? Use it. Use it for the border security that he wants, right? And then make that deal and see if that $2 billion works. And then if he needs another $500 million down the road because the $2 billion is actually working and helping people, all right, okay, fair enough. Don't just sit there and now, in the catbird seat, as I'm sure Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi feel, like, hey, we beat him, we won, we took this round because he didn't get the border wall thing that he wanted. We showed up Trump. It's like, okay, yay for you guys, victory. And meanwhile, there's border security guards going, okay, so we just let people in these certain places where we can't control stuff. Okay, nobody's winning any of this. Not Democrats, not Republicans. This was just real obstinate stupidity on both sides. 80% on the Trump Republican sides and the Mitch McConnell side, 20% on the Democrat side. Let's be fair about this. And that is why we played The Deal by Amy Rigby from her album Till the Wheels Fall Off. They made a deal to get the government, at least temporarily, back open. Okay, well, it has been a weird political week, that is for sure. Let's let's get to our next song as part of our Saturday segue of songs in the news. You're going to recognize this voice and this band.
I see you walking down the street, just all by yourself. I'm trying not to overbeat. This heart of stone. Oh no, this heart of stone.
Okay, why would I be playing Mick Jagger and the Boys with an old song of theirs? Rolling Stones, of course. Rolling Stones with Heart of Stone. Reason being...
Is that Russian?
that could be. Oh, no, what happened? I thought I put it in here. Hold on. Do I have it here? Come on. I'm just trying to get my next song set up before I talk about this one. There it is. I forgot to move it over into... Whoa, stop it. Stop right there. I need an intern helping. Anywho, we played the Rolling Stones doing Heart of Stone because just a day or two ago, presidential advisor Roger Stone was arrested pre-dawn. I mean, it was ridiculous. They went in with like paratroopers to his Florida home pre-dawn, early Thursday morning, after he had been indicted by a grand jury on conspiracy charges, aka lying on behalf of Donald Trump involving some emails about WikiLeaks and stuff that would have hurt the Democratic National Committee back in the 2016 elections. So essentially,
Oh,
Um,
Cohen? It's for Cohen? Part of Cohen?
Stone. All right, well, no, not Michael Cohen. He's already got his own problems.
Yeah,
This is another presidential advisor. Yeah, you can put that on the bills there. Roger Stone, who says that he is not going to, what do you say? He's not going to fall on his sword for Donald Trump, or he's not going to perjure.
I'm not going to
himself.
fall on my sword.
He did some stupid Shakespearean phrase, or
He said, Trump got back.
that's exactly what he said.
And then
Anyway,
you start dancing.
but Roger Stone brought into custody. I guess they wanted to do it all on the hush-hush early in the morning so they could go through his house and burn evidence. But I mean, they, literally come in there in riot
There's
gear.
a thing called the interwebs, and most things are done electronic now, right? I mean,
Yeah, probably.
You
But then, well, yeah, they're going to take his computers
yeah.
and check his emails and his stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, that's,
nay.
well, one assumes instead of actual
Nay.
file folders and such.
Maybe they just make a menorah.
That could
You
be.
could do that in prison.
So again, the Republicans are saying that all this is a show thing. They want to get at President Trump by harassing relatively innocent people who are on his team, or by entrapping them into perjuring themselves and saying the wrong things. But anyway, they got Mueller now, or not Mueller, they got Cohen, they got Stone.
Like a Rolling Cohen.
Yeah, right. Who else? I thought Melania will be in chains. I don't know. She probably isn't.
She should get it for plagiarizing.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, she just plagiarized the speech.
Yeah. I know. It was from Obama's, from Michelle. Yeah. Anywho, that is why we played Heart of Stone by the Rolling Stones.
Crazy. That's crazy.
On Dave's Gone By. And let's see. Let's move on. Let's move away from politics, even though you might think that this is kind of a political song. It's not about that. Not about that at all.
Come all you young rebels, and list while I sing. For the love of one's country is a terrible thing. It banishes fear away.
I better pop that down before Facebook forces me. But I'll get to the line. Hold on.
And it makes us all a part of the patriot game.
Oh, hurling.
Not quite. What's
Hurling?
a less fun sport than curling?
Hurling.
Hurling a?
Ball, football, bowling ball, football.
You had it. No, we were watching bowling this morning, but hurling a football.
Nose ball?
As a nose ball.
Oh.
Well, don't poo-poo that, because that's not funny. I'm just being phlegmatic.
You're such a boogie.
And I'm coming down from Mount Sinai. Get it? Yeah. I guess I blew it.
Hey, buddy.
Anyway, but you got it. We played a classic song. This is not the Clancy Brothers version, but a lovely album from one of the Clancys, Liam Clancy, did a solo record. And on it, he did the classic Irish tune, The Patriot Game.
Oh.
The Patriot Game. Why would I play that, dear?
Because we did not receive money from Russia.
No, wait. Isn't that
the
Patriot?
Patriots won the Super Bowl?
Well, the Patriots are going to be, once again,
They cheated?
in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, there was no cheating involved.
They sand their balls. Remember they used to sand their balls? Who sanded their balls?
Well, he deflated. That was
He
the deflate
deflated
game
his
a couple of
balls.
years
Did he
ago.
deflate his balls?
He did not deflate. His balls were
Hurt.
all full, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, the Super Bowl is going to be next Sunday, not this Sunday, but last Sunday.
Who is in the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots are going to be in it by beating the Kansas City Chiefs. So check this out. The Patriots have been in more Super Bowls than any other team ever, 11 of them. And this is the amazing part. Since the year 2000. Since the year 2000, when Tom Brady and Coach Bill Belichick came on to the Patriots, they've done 9 of their Super Bowl appearances. They are literally a dynasty. They're amazing. And they have won 5 of those Super Bowls. So they're going to be in one more by beating the Chiefs last Sunday. And then who they're going to be playing, even I wouldn't have remembered this, the LA Rams. a team that has moved around more than a Bedouin caravan, but they've been in LA again since 2016, and the Rams beat the New Orleans Saints last Sunday on the road. And it was a very controversial thing because there was a penalty or a play that should have been a penalty, like two heads bugging in to each other. Penalty was not called. The amazing thing.
Why not? Concussion.
They missed it. They didn't do it. And this is really a thing because the NFL has fined the Rams' Nickel Roby-Coleman for doing this, and yet they didn't call the play, a play that was a game changer. And the game would have most likely been won by the New Orleans Saints had they made that call.
Maybe there's somebody's bookie.
So it's about the most controversial call in the history of NFL, in the history of football. But anyway, stuff happens. Referees are human, and the Super Bowl is set. It's going to be the LA Rams versus the New England Patriots next Sunday evening for the 2019 Super Bowl. And that is why we played Liam Clancy doing the Patriot game, because of course the Patriots are in there. That's what we're doing. We're doing the Saturday segue of songs in the news, where you've got to guess why I'm playing the songs I'm playing here on Dave's Gone By. And by the way, welcome to Peggy and Jolinda and Nicole and Tom and all the folks who've been tuning in to the Daverhood this Saturday. We got a little bit more to do of our Saturday segue of songs in the news. For example, this number here, hold on, I'm gonna play this one. Oh, I can't start it at the beginning. Where do I have to start it from? Hold on. Why am I playing this little number?
Looking for another station when the static from the mouthpiece gave way to the sound below. James Dean went out to Hollywood, put his picture in a picture show. James Dean went out to Hollywood, put his picture in a picture show.
Oh, I can play a little bit more.
Mama, why'd you have to go? Your darling Jim is out on the limb, put my picture in a picture show.
Put my picture in a picture show from John Prine there. Why would I be playing John Prine doing picture show on Dave's Gone By as part of our Saturday segue? Any, want to take a stab at that?
Someone's changing their network.
No.
Say, give me a hint. You know I'm dumb. Give me a hint.
What are picture shows?
Movies.
Okay. Why would I be playing a song about movies?
Cisco Lieber died.
No, well, they're both gone for a while.
They reincarnated.
What is the biggest thing that happens to picture shows in this country?
Oh, they get an Oscar? Tony.
No, you had it. You had
Oscar.
The Oscar nominations were announced this past week. And so 10 Oscar nominations for the drama Roma, and also tied with The Favorite in nominations.
Wow.
Meanwhile, A Star is Born and the...
That was all hyped up with that Lady Gaga.
Well, apparently it was good.
Did you
People
see
liked it. I didn't see it, but apparently, and it got 8 Oscar nominations. And I think she got an Oscar nod for an actress, as did he, as did that guy you like, what's his name? Bradley Cooper.
Ooh, sexy pie.
Well, so all right. So who's sexier to you, Idris Elba or Brad Cooper?
Idris Elba, because if I say no, he'll kill me in the show.
In the show, yeah, he's kind of a violent dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on there.
So that got 8 nominations. A Star is Born did, and Vice, about the Vice President, Dick Cheney, that got 8 nominations as well. The 91st Annual Academy Awards, the Oscars, are happening February 24th on ABC TV. The Best Picture nominees are Black Klansman, which is the
I
very...
want to see that.
Yeah. Can you imagine that is the first Oscar nod as a director for Spike Lee?
I can't believe
all
that.
these years, man.
Because there's racism in the Academy.
Yeah.
Racism.
Well, no, a lot of his movies in between.
Jungle Fever, She's Gotta Have It. Come on, those
Well, that's
originals
right.
were
Well,
great.
he should have gotten something for X, and he should have gotten something for Do the Right Thing.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But finally, the Academy recognizes
Yes.
Spike Lee. Also, the movie Black Panther, which is supposedly a terrific
We didn't see that either.
superhero film. Bohemian Rhapsody about
They said it
Queen.
was good, but they won't get it because that director was accused of naughtiness.
Yeah.
There's some scandal. I don't understand it,
Yeah.
but
And then The Favorite is there.
the what?
The Favorite. I'm not sure if that's the one about the Queens. I'm not sure about that one. Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice, all up for Best Picture at the Oscars, coming up on Sunday, February 24th, on ABC TV, the 91st Oscar nominations. So we got one more song for our Saturday segue of songs in the news. But before then, I don't have any songs for this, but I do want to acknowledge the passing of two. Sorry?
Can we hum? I'll sing a song. You pick it.
The passing of two film directors of varying levels of expertise. First of all, we actually lost Meshulam Riklis.
That's a cool name.
Basically a financial, like card Monte sort of wizard.
That's my name.
But who channeled some of his money into making movies and producing movies, and he directed, do you remember the movie Butterfly?
No.
That made his wife Pia Zadora into...
Oh, that was like Citizen Kane.
Kind of a laughing... They're not married anymore. They divorced a few years ago. But anyway, we lost Meshulam Riklis this past week. He died. And then, this is kind of sad, because I remember they showed us this guy's movies back when I was studying film at NYU. Dusan Makavejev.
Yes, it rolls off the tongue.
Yugoslavian director. He actually had some, in the 1970s, he was a very watched European director. He did WR, or The Mystery of the Organism, The Coca-Cola Kid, Montenegro. So he mixed politics and sex in a very weird, sometimes goofy, sometimes direct or shocking way. And I haven't seen a Makavejev film in literally decades, but I'm tempted to go back and see a couple of those movies again, because I remember them being rather outlandish and quite interesting to watch. But farewell to Dusan Makavejev, who passed away this past week. Well, anyway, we got one more song.
Your show is very good.
Well, thank you, dear. Let's see if we can get this last one. This will be a little tough. However, let's see. I did talk about this early in the show. I mentioned an aspect of this. I don't know if this will help or not. But when I was talking about stuff that I did on my birthday, one of the places I went is related to this song that I'm going to play, or at least play part of.
Okay.
Once I can get this rolling, once I can get the song going, and once I can get to the point where I want to start it, here we go.
Never came back. But never changed. But never changed.
Lou Reed on guitar.
I don't know, don't ever change.
Oh, it's hard to get the accent. John Cale singing there, a song titled Forever Changed. Forever Changed.
Oh, you had a birthday.
Well, I'll be forever, well, I won't be forever 55. I'll be 55 for 360 more days, but no. Forever
Young.
changed. What's changing for forever?
The FDA, the strike.
For a forever.
Your teeth.
No.
Oh, the stamp. The stamp.
Bing, 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 bing. That's it.
5-cent stamp. That's
Yes. Forever. The post office has voted, to raise the price of a lot of its postage, starting basically immediately. Starting Monday. So the price of a forever stamp has the biggest cost rise, percentage-wise, of any time in the history of first-class stamps. It's going from 50 cents for a forever stamp to 55 cents. Other things are going up as well. One good thing is that if you're mailing a first-class letter in an envelope, the additional ounces are actually going down. So instead of 21 cents an additional ounce, it'll be 17 cents an additional.
Why is it so
I don't know what they do what they do.
Why is it so confusing?
But postcards are going to stay the same. They'll still stay
Who
at
sends
35
a
cents.
postcard except your dentist?
That's why they can keep the thing the same. So because nobody's using it. However, check this out. Priority mail is going from about $6.50 to nearly $7. I remember I used to send, this kills me, because many, many years ago, when they first started doing the priority mail packages, which was essentially 2-day mail, you didn't have to get your own envelope. It came with its own envelope. It had a sealable strip, and you could fit as much in it as you could as long as it's sealed. So it could be like 10 pounds. It was all right. You could just throw stuff in there. And when I would send plays out back in the day, full-length 90, 110-page plays, single-sided, with a cover letter, with a return SASC postcard, you throw it in, seal it, and for $2, I think, and 95 cents, maybe a little less, it went. It got there. They read it. They opened it. No problem. Now, same damn thing is $7. So I feel bad for. I'm sure a lot of theaters now are taking things digitally, but most theaters don't want to print. And most contests don't want to do that either.
I'm sure they email everything.
Yeah, but
do they give you tickets in print, or do they give you a ticket on your phone now?
What tickets for? Depend. Most people, it's still sort of a will call thing. They come up to the window and they get a ticket, or they show their voucher. And
you can't have an electric ticket. Like
I'm not seeing that. I'm still seeing on Broadway actual physical tickets. I don't know why they can't just go and go zip, zip. Or maybe I'm not looking closely enough, but the people around me are still doing actual tickets.
Okay.
Weirdly enough. Anywho, but yeah. So we played Forever Changed from Songs for Drella, the Lou Reed and John Cale collaboration, because forever stamps are changing, lots of the prices are changing for the post office. And as my mom said, it's like, so sure, they want more people, people stop using the post office, so they get less money coming in. So they raise prices, so even fewer people use the post office. In interesting times we live in. But some interesting songs there in our Saturday segue of songs in the news here on Dave's Gone By. With me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, and just about ready to end the show, but I forgot to do a segment earlier that I promised. So, of course, we're going to make good on our promises here. It's our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
So yeah, even though we're doing the show now from Long Island, New York, and will be for a while, we still do our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. It's a tribute to a town or city or municipality, whatever that is, in Colorado, where for no particular reason I decided to write little mini limerick poems for all these different places to be, and the way limericks tend to be, they're naughty and vicious and evil and horrible. So if you have children in the room, sorry? Oh, might have to be.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of them. So hopefully they'll give you a horrid little chuckle as we do our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. The town for today is Eaton, Colorado, which we're very close to. Rather close to Eaton, Colorado. Population about 5,000. It was incorporated back in 1892, named for Benjamin Harrison Eaton, who helped irrigate much of northern Colorado. So he gave them water. They gave him a town named after him.
That's nice.
And check this out. It doesn't seem to be much to do there, but it was ranked 16th out of 151 for best places to live in Colorado. So
That's not shabby.
Yeah, that is pretty darn good. So ladies and gentlemen, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, our sweet, tender, gentle limerick of the week. A tender young schoolboy from Eaton was raped and then horribly beaten. His bruises are healing, except that he's dealing with blood that he can't stop excreting. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's our Colorado limerick.
I need some post-traumatic stress therapy from that one.
Oh, yes. I warned you. Folks. We do these every week. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Well, I'll be damned. It's 8 minutes to noon here, Eastern Time, in Hewlett, Long Island. So about time that we have to be heading out and end this edition of Dave's Gone By. First of all, it remains for me to thank my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, for joining me for the first part of the program and other parts of the program as well. Big thank you to those of you who are watching and listening and hopefully enjoying. It's just great to see all the people who sign in, who tune in, who leave me comments. If you want to reach me not during the show, remember you can still email me, davesgoneby@aol.com, davesgoneby@aol.com. You can also just drop me a message right here on my Facebook page, Radio Dave Lefkowitz. Radio Dave Lefkowitz. I read them all and I try to answer as many as I can. As I said, there was a point at which I got so many birthday best wishes that I couldn't answer. I mean, I just had to start clicking like. I couldn't even bother with thank you anymore because there were almost 500 of them. But I read each and every one. I'm grateful for each and every one, and especially even the more personalized best wishes and happy birthdays from you all. And it was certainly a very happy birthday and birthday week for me. So thank you for that. I want to thank Rabbi Saul Solomon for stopping in and doing story time today, the Giant Fun Mitzvah book. Really enjoy hearing that. If you want to know more about Rabbi Saul, go to his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. That is the place that you can read and hear his rabbinical reflections. Those are mini sermons. Also, he has the 10 episodes of the show that he did on Long Island Cable about a decade ago, as well as video footage of his entire show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon. Those are all available at his website, shalomdammit.com. My website, davesgoneby.com. Well, gosh, we've got the archives there. Almost every single episode we've ever done, entire episodes, are in the archives for free. You can either download them or stream them directly on your computer. You can put them on your iPod as MP3s. davesgoneby.com. And we even have a separate archive section just for the interviews and the special guests that we've had with all the music and the rest of the program stripped out. You'll find that in the archive pages of davesgoneby.com. Well, have I missed anything? I think, no. I'm going to miss you guys for the next couple of days, but I should be back next Saturday, first Saturday in February, 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time, for a brand new 683rd edition of Dave's Gone By. So I want to wish you a fine week as I get my old, creaky 55-year-old bones going here on Dave's Gone By. Let's hear an early classic from the one and only Tom Waits from his album Closing Time, since we are closing the show now. And I am an old 55 saying, have a good one and gone by.
Well, my time went so quickly, I went lickety splickly out to my old 55. As I rolled away slowly, feeling so holy, God knows I was feeling alive.
And that's the show, folks. I'll see you next week. Have a great one and gone by.